So, from where we last left off, our party's cooking, trying to cook meth. So, you need cash, raw cash. And in order to do that, you need a job, you lazy motherfuckers. So you found some random dwarf, you don't even know his name, who's offering work, and now you are riding in the back of his truck towards an unknown destination in a dark and dank cavern.
Sounds like a normal Wednesday for us.
You guys don't think, it's like Tim Tom remarks, like, you guys don't think that we're all about to get, like, our internal organs sold off for, the highest bidder?
You're still squeezing me.
Yari's
not the
just
first time
in
it happened.
between you and probably 447.
No.
in the
Last
back
time
seat.
round, Tim Tom was hugging him tightly while he was.
Lord.
447. Well,
You're
not
just being crunched up into a ball.
I kind
Tim
of
Tom,
shrug
let's
my
go.
shoulders.
Oh, sorry. I kind of forgot you were there for a minute.
Yeah.
I thought you were one of those. Never mind. Tim Tom grabs him by like the back of his neck and sets him down on a seat.
I shrug
Yeah,
my
he's
shoulders
just gonna
at this.
buckle
Go on,
up.
go on.
At least try to.
Tim Tom has to sit on two seats.
I shrug my shoulders at the suggestion that we're going to get our organs harvested. We've survived worse.
Quite frankly, I don't. I think it'll be fine. Just a hunch. Fine as in we'll get work that may not actually be safe, but I don't think we're gonna get our organs pulled out.
Alright, so you top hoppers, you've been around caves a lot.
Tim Tom raises his hand.
I do not.
I have a question. What's a top hopper?
It's an insult.
Oh, well, that wasn't very nice.
It's the only thing I could think of.
The only cave I've been around wasn't a natural formation.
Alright.
Yeah, I think someone built it.
So, a couple of things to keep watch for, and he kind of starts pointing out while he's driving, and you're still on the well-structured path here. Like, there's a full-on road, a bridge that's leading into a further cavern, like, subsection. First things first, this planet can be geologically active at times. If you start seeing shit falling from the ceiling, go somewhere where it ain't.
Sage advice.
Right. So
Second of all, if you get too far into unsettled civilization here on Castellum, there are creatures that are liable to just straight up sweep you off your feet and eat you.
right, I guess that answers my question in some capacity. If these miners need protection, what do they need protection from exactly?
Let's take a good count. You've got good old mega spiders, you've got cavern drakes. I think they have some of those boulder bulls, if you can even count those. They're typically pretty friendly, but if you piss them off, get ready for a stampede.
I'm
boulder
sorry, just
bull.
wind that up about 5 steps. Did you just say a mega spider?
I never seen a mega spider before.
What do you fucking think?
Well, maybe if you're lucky, you'll get a chance.
Lucky. You and
Maybe
I
incredibly unlucky.
You and I have very, very different aspirations, my friend.
I have to say, I'm not
I
terribly
mean,
concerned. If anything,
He
eats
didn't
me,
spy if it was good luck or bad luck.
thank you, your reach.
Tim Tom raises his hand again.
He's not even paying attention. He's looking at the road.
All
All
right.
right,
So, serious question: does bug repellent work on the giant spiders?
You can try it yourself whenever you see one.
Guys, we need to go back.
It's
We need to
not
go get
very
some raid.
helpful advice.
I have
Yari looks over to Tim Tom.
All right.
You're
Better
gonna
question.
need a pool worth of raid to do anything.
What the fuck is raid?
Shadow Legends.
Yeah,
Wait, raid Shadow Legends too? What's your username?
I tried that.
I've been
Wasn't
sprayed
very
by
fun.
it once.
It's not fun.
Honestly, the only thing I don't really like about it is the incessant use of microtransactions.
I've tried playing some of these games on my comm unit, and none of them have been quite engaging.
The
Have you
dwarf's
tried-
head snaps around like 180 and goes, "Well, you tried Raid Shadow Legends, one of the biggest mobile role-playing games of 2019. It's totally free. Almost 10 million users have currently joined Raid over the last 6 months, and
What?
it's one of the most impressive games in its class with detailed models, environments,
Tim starts pointing at the road. It's like, hey, are you pay
steering
attention
towards
to the
a
road,
pillar.
please? Please.
Ryan.
What year is this?
Oh, Ryan has a fucking stroke and falls out of the truck and dies. I'm leaving the campaign.
Steering towards a pillar.
The truck crashes headlong into a rock and explodes. The party dies. Aspect is not able to revive any of them.
That would be nice. Unfortunately,
That'd be
you all do
funny.
indeed survive. So,
Point is, I'm not very concerned about getting eaten. Anything eats me, it'll die an hour later from all the toxins in my blood.
you get to a segment on the road where it seems to split off. There's a small side path that leads down to the cave floor, where the road straight up goes from like a nice asphalt, like definitely built up bridge that's raised off to more of like a dirt path that's been carved out. And he gets off of this road and begins settling onto the dirt path, going further into much tighter, winding caves.
That was a nice bridge.
Yeah, people here make some decent crafts. I don't personally have any opinions on it.
Well then, I suppose we should go ahead and try and find the people that we're going to be working with.
Find the people you're going to be working with. I'm taking them to you. I'm taking
Alright
you
then.
to them.
Yeah, Ankos, I'm
There
sure
it
they're
is.
around here somewhere.
All right.
Well, anyway, y'all have any more questions? Got a bit until we get there.
Quite frankly, I'm pretty sure the mining crews themselves are going to be able to divulge most of the information we need.
Suit yourself.
We gonna be able to stock up on ammo before we head out?
They might have some stuff for you.
Good to know. I think I've got enough to get the job done, but it's something I like to stay on top of.
Kind of shrugs his shoulders. We did just leave, Havoc Industries just like 2 seconds ago.
Tom pulls out one of his darts and inspects the needle. I wonder how effective these will be at piercing chitinous armor.
Okay, Psycho.
Tom starts thinking up of chemical formulas to fucking manufacture fucking Raid.
Shadow
Give me
Legends.
what you want. I don't sit here and muse about how my shotgun shells can split apart skulls.
I mean, they're bug skulls. Does that really count?
Suppose.
Technically,
Yeah.
they're not skulls;
got-
they're exoskeletal.
You
they're
got special sympathy for bugs?
Not really. No.
Bugs
Not
are
you.
animals just like any other creature.
Technically,
Right.
they're not
Yari
animals. Technically,
just
they're insects.
curling up.
Or technically arachnids.
What the?
And yet
He kind of like holds up a
What's the
finger and
point?
he forces the truck to stop.
I'm
You're
just saying they're
that
not.
Bugs aren't animals.
Yes, they're technically an arachnid. They 8 legs, 2 individual body sections.
Same fucking difference, you nerd.
No, there's actually a vast difference between the animal kingdoms and,
And
the
is it
arachnid
gonna
and
make that much of a
insect
difference when
kingdoms.
it's trying to kill you?
He kind of like slams his fist down and just goes, "Insects are animals."
No, they are not.
Yes,
There
they
are
are.
no, there are biological
They literally
differences.
are.
But
They
They're
are
animals.
animals.
They are not mammals, but they are.
no, I
animals.
thought no. I thought insects were not animals. I thought they were
Matt
entirely
is
different.
now speaking out of character.
No, like they're different fucking
No,
groups. They're different
insects are in
kingdoms.
Kingdom Animalia. Did you think they were plants, Matt?
Doctor,
Do you think
and,
they
and I'm
were
saying this now with
protists?
a great deal of salt in my fucking voice. Did you get your goddamn diploma from a cereal box?
Honestly, my degree is in pharmacology, not biology.
Yeah, fucking good. Keep in your lane.
Wouldn't you have to have at least some basic knowledge of biology in order to Be a
Well,
pharmacist.
Most of it's just mathematical equations to ensure I don't overdose you.
I mean, I was purpose built to be a killing machine, and even I knew that bugs are animals.
I do not accept that as
Purpose built to
fact.
be a what now?
Don't worry about it.
I don't think I will. You're gonna hit the gas pedal and speed back up the cruiser.
Besides,
Thank God.
I've heard a lot of talk about how bugs aren't people while Yar reaches an earshot. That was a very strange conversation.
Yeah, I just
It's
kind
okay.
of curled up.
Yarich, you get a pass. It's okay. You're fine.
I imagine that with the limited space that's in this truck, because keep in mind it does have like a second cab, the dwarf has actively turned on the floor AC. That way Yarich is able to sit in the floorboards and just get some fucking air.
You know, I could say bears aren't people, and I'd be right for the most part.
I mean,
I feel like we're
Maybe?
losing. I feel like we're losing the plot.
It also, I guess, it
should
defines on what you refer to as a person.
Yes.
maybe we should worry about the potentially life-endangering work we have ahead of us.
Not the first time.
So
Right, but there's always the opportunity for it to be the last
Off.
time.
Off in the distance, you will begin to actually make note of something. There are small tents and sort of like scaffolded structures that have been assembled. Looks for the most part, there's nothing big or permanent. It all looks like it's easily broken down, and it's mostly temporary living space. But there is a small campfire in the center of it, and a series of vehicles parked all around it. They all seem to look like very large bikes. The truck rumbles on forward and kind of checks his watch. Yeah, that should be the place.
And
Begins to
these
come
are
to
the-
a stop around the outskirts. Don't want to give anybody too much scaring.
And these are the miners that we're meant to escort, I assume.
Hi, this is where my cousin works.
Your cousin. What was his name again?
My cousin was...
Fuck, let me get a notebook real quick so I can actually start taking notes properly.
Nah, my cousin, twice removed, was Lorik Blackmantle.
Lorik Blackmantle. Where the fuck is my notebook at?
He's twice removed on the younger side, so...
Fine, I guess I'll use WordPad. Fuck it.
kind of a young man.
New Word document. Oh my god, please load. Load, goddammit. Okay, there we go.
Yorick who?
Lorik Blackmantle. Now, is your cousin, is he the head of this operation, or is he just part of the crew?
Oh, he's just a part of the crew.
Gotcha. Well, appreciate the ride. We'll go meet up with him and find out exactly what the leadership here wants from us.
Well,
Maybe,
I don't want
maybe-
you. I'm bringing you to my cousin, and my cousin will introduce you to the head of the group, because I doubt if you just walk in there, things are going to be nice and tidy.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, lead the way after you.
He undoes his seat belt, a very safe driver, opens the door and gets out and begins to make his way over. What's the rest of the party doing?
Figured I'd twiddle my
vaulting
thumbs
outside,
up here and
getting
do
out of
nothing,
truck.
maybe take a nap.
Alright.
Tim Tom
So-
starts getting out, I guess.
I'm
Well,
going to
also,
grab.
Right
that
slides
sounds
out
kinda
the
looks around.
floorboards and just kind of stays close to. Maybe right now I'm thinking ankles.
Yeah,
Ankles.
I'm gonna vault out of the side of the truck and land on the ground and follow our dwarven
What's the lighting
associate.
situation here like? Is there a lot of lights here, or is it pretty dark here?
No, for the most part, the caverns are very dim. The only real lights that you get are the occasional bioluminescent mushrooms that kind of hang off, kind of embedded in the walls and growing up just a little bit.
Tim
It is
Tom
a
turns-
very pale light, and for the most part, you are shrouded in darkness.
Tim
The place
Tom
they're heading
turns
to
the-
is lit up by a campfire.
Yeah, Tim Tom turns on his light on his fucking comm unit.
I'm just gonna look around at the bioluminescent flora. Real cozy down here.
I know. It is a beautiful place once you get used to it.
It looks like a natural formation.
That's because it is, you fucking stunned. It's a mushroom.
Arthur is going to open his pouch and let his stellar moat like out to float kind of beside him.
So, as you all are marching, I'd like... Oh, never mind. I'll be right back.
I'd like you to take a fortitude save to avoid getting cancer from the glowing spores.
I am going to take a piss. Wait.
You could at least wait until you have a bathroom, Mankos. No one wanted to see that.
Out of character, you fucking dip.
All right, you weren't here for our conversation about Saint 14.
What was that?
Don't worry about it.
Please don't worry about it.
Tyler.
Well, now that Tyler said that, I'm a little fucking worried.
Don't be.
It's destiny.
It's destiny, and more importantly, it's pandering.
Agreed.
I don't know what pandas have to do with this, but okay.
It's about how the media just panders to the gays without actually being meaningful.
If you're a gay person, you get a free panda from the media? That's kind of cool.
Well, yeah.
Do I have the right to do anything I want with that panda? Because I'm totally gonna butcher it and then sell its meat to the local Chinese restaurants.
Of course, it's
That's not as bad as what I thought you were gonna say, Matt.
This is what the Democrats have been fighting for. This is the
This is Joe Biden's America.
This is Joe Biden's America.
It's a liberal communist agenda.
That's right. Gay
So
people are
true.
slaughtering pandas in the street.
So true.
VV. VV.
What I hear Tim Pool say in a show all the time.
Tim Pool? You mean the guy who gives Tyler his opinions in the mail?
Yeah.
I thought Tyler received his
And the guy-
opinions of Birch.
No, he received spiritual guidance from Furt.
May God, may Jesus have mercy on us all.
Cheese be upon him. Mashallah.
No such mercy.
Allah knows no mercy.
Allah has chosen.
My God, the blinding light of Allah. I should have believed.
God, the
You
holy
mean
light
the
of
great
Allah!
deceiver?
If only I were a true believer!
Been saying that every time that somebody opens a window at the house.
I should have believed.
Or like a door. One time I got blasted by the light in the bathroom because it was like ivory white and it just seared my retinas and I just like shouted it.
If only... Dude, every time I'm like driving and the sun gets in my eyes, I just instantly go, if only I had been a true believer!
The path is wide and easy to walk for those who believe.
If only I went to Milo's Camp No Homo.
You should get sent. You know what? I think all you NWA should get sent to the fucking Chick-fil-A gay camps.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. We're gonna have to roll that shit back like 2 minutes.
The fucking what now?
The Chick-fil-A gay camps. Hold on.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Are they sponsoring like conversion camps?
Yeah. No. So
Actually.
Chick-fil-A has had like
Jesus.
allegations because they fund gay camps, like
Oh.
anti-gay camps.
Well,
Like the
I
owners of
knew they
Chick-fil-A.
donated money to fucking anti-gay causes and churches, but conversion camps.
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
They've been known to fucking do that, and I find
Can
it
you
fucking
cite a
hilarious.
sport for this, please? Can you actually like?
Oh, his
back
source is
this
it
up?
came to him in a dream.
Yeah. Hang on.
Jesus Christ. Fucking terrifying.
I thought
Holy
gay
shit.
camp was just summer camp, but
No.
But spicy.
No. I could never confirm that because gay camp was illegal in Oklahoma until 2014.
Oh my god.
What? What do you mean?
that was
Gay
Obama.
camp was-
Chick-fil-A, many controversies explained.
That was
like,
Obama's America, by the way.
That was Obama's American. Jesus.
Everyone knows that Obama's gay, and that Michelle Obama is secretly a trans woman.
Yes.
I mean, she has the chin of a fucking cinder block,
She has
so
some man hands going on.
she has the hands.
And if you look closely at like footage of her running around, you can just barely notice a bulge.
Hmm.
You can unsay that anytime.
I think the toothpaste is out of the
Tyler.
What the fuck?
Yes.
The speed at which you produce this, Hoover, is fucking frightening.
Dude, I could say something
Can
to
we
make
just get
Matt's
back to
comment way
Blue?
worse, but I'm not going to.
I just want to get back to Starfinder, please.
Oh, but Levi's gone. You have no choice but to suffer.
You have no choice but to suffer.
I mean, if you want to make it even worse, you can pretend like we're having this conversation in character.
Oh god.
Oh god.
The dwarf is just having a moment.
How about this? The dwarf waddled off into the distance to go talk to his cousin real quick, and we're just all standing by the truck. Some of us, some of us are having a smoke break. Others are deep in conversation. Yori is just shivering under the truck.
And Tim Tom's like, Chick-fil-A did gay camps, eh?
No. So they because it was several of the anti-LGBT fucking groups, and like one or two of them were known
Baku's
for
like,
fucking.
Michelle Obama has a bull.
Jesus.
My in-law in Christ.
I fucking just saw a fucking video of that shit one time, and it was just seared in my fucking memory.
Interesting.
I
heard that
fucking-
Hunter...
Once again, I reiterate.
Yeah, that's really all we need to hear of that.
What the fuck?
I heard somewhere that Hunter Biden had an encounter, shall we say, with one of Obama's daughters.
Yeah, yeah.
An encounter.
An encounter.
An encounter is the correct word to use.
An encounter
All
of
right,
the third
sorry.
kind.
Are we still recording? Did somebody pause it?
No, we all that was on the recording, by the way, guys.
Fucking live.
Oh no!
Oh,
I'll look forward to rewatching that. So
I look
Oh,
forward to
goodness.
the interlude of a fever dream about Michelle Obama.
okay. I would like everybody that is walking up that is keeping a careful eye on the environment or ear out to give me a perception check.
I think
Oh,
my
yes, sir.
comment earlier warrants me taking a perception check.
Yeah.
Considering Carthan has dark vision, he will happily do so.
I also have dark vision because of my
Oh!
glasses.
Oh!
So,
Damn.
while the rest of the party walks forward, Enkos and Vaku, you guys are kind of keeping a back tread. And while you're making your beeline towards this campsite, you start to hear something. It's a deep, almost kind of like thunderous revving in the distance. And you get the sounds that kind of sound similar to a bike engine. Sounds like it's getting closer.
I'm
You hear
going
that?
to. Is it coming from down the tunnel where we just came from?
This is more like a spread out cavern, and it sounds like it's coming from a direction, like, off ways and is heading towards the party. You can hear it kind of growing, like it's kind of growing from a distant, thunderous roar, and it's starting to grow in crescendo.
I am going to kind of stop on foot as the party proceeds forward and just look towards the general direction of the noise.
So, as you stop, I imagine Vaku probably stops too.
Yeah. Like, he's just gonna kinda... He's just gonna kinda look around. Is there anything I can, like, hide behind, perhaps?
There's definitely rocks and stuff that you could hide behind. This is a pretty craggy terrain.
Yeah, I'll just hide behind, like, a pile of rocks. And just kinda,
So,
like, keep looking out.
As you hide and as Ankos, you stand and watch. Cresting above a hill that kept it obscured from view, immediately the choppiness of the engine that as a big old creation just comes flying off of the ledge. No wheels, somehow. And as it flies above the entire party. You hear a scream, almost like a howl in Dwarvish, before a gun goes off. This person who is riding on a bike above the party, basically using it as a ramp, has now just shot a shotgun while screaming to something to the equivalent of, "Yeah, covers!" And then stone explodes right underneath your feet as this thing hits the nearby terrain and begins rolling away. You did not get even a second to observe the pilot. It was shrouded in shadow and fucking dust that was being kicked up from this thing flying above you all.
So he
Tim
just
Tom-
ramped over the entire party, shot at us, missed, and then ran away.
Yeah, at this point, you all see that the campsite in the distance has scattered into activity. Like
So
they are all running to their vehicles right now.
So without-
Somebody's already
So as-
setting up the campfire.
As I notice everyone, I'm gonna stop and look around. I'm looking at the fucking smoldering crater where the shotgun blast was. And I'm gonna look to our guide and say, "What the fuck was that?"
Without
You just,
breaking
like-
my stride and without even breaking a sweat, I just occupational hazard.
Tim Tom looks at the direction where the guide went off as well. As far as introductions go, I think that was quite rude. Hey, that wasn't your cousin, wasn't it?
I sure hope it fucking wasn't. And you see the actual bike itself. Again, no wheels. It almost seems suspended off of the craggy terrain as it's
Tim Tom
rumbling
wait.
back towards the campsite. And like I said, it's already
Okay.
bursting into a flurry of activity. And a
Okay,
lot of
as
them are
as,
now.
as he comes back after he shot us, I'm going to go
He's
ahead
not coming
and
back. He's going to the camp.
okay. I'm gonna yell to the dwarven leading our party. Is that something we need to be worried about?
I
do you
honestly don't
think?
fucking know. I don't think I've been assaulted before.
Let's go fucking see what this asshole's trying to do.
Double time then as Carthan manifests his weapon.
Yep, I'm going
Yep.
to unsling my
are
rifle
you
and
just
double time
going-
over.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
draw
just
my
going
fucking
to
pistol, check the
double
chamber, and then
time it.
fucking move that way.
Gonna draw,
Tim Tom
gonna
grabs
draw a
Yarich,
pistol,
puts
get the whip
Yarich on his
ready.
shoulder, and starts jogging.
I'm just gonna like just kind of slink around, trying to keep out of sight.
Can I make a perception roll to identify the fucking? Well, never mind. I'm not even gonna fucking bother with
that
that.
25, I would
Was to
say
see if he
that,
was coming. Like,
what
if
do you
I
mean
wanted
by
to.
coming?
Well, I mean, maybe like see if the fucking bike or its rider bared any type of discernible insignias or markings that separated him from the camp.
Oh
we see
yeah,
so far.
the section that contained the saddlebags that were just kind of hanging off the side. Which, by the way, these are very large creations for a bike-sized contraption. It was definitely marked with an insignia that you could like inherently recognize with a passive perception roll of 25.
Okay.
I would say if you wanted to identify it, it'd probably be an easy DC because the person that you're riding with already told you who they are, before you got here.
Fair.
So
well,
make a knowledge local check.
Knowledge local?
Or
That's-
knowledge culture. Culture.
Yes, there we go.
24. Simple as that. You recognize that as the Bedrock Industrial logo. Now, since you
And-
rolled so high, you have a innate understanding that Bedrock Industrial breaches both like Dominion and Syndicate authority and kind of operates as their own thing. And if you had to take a wild guess, this like stationed grouped cluster of individuals are probably scouts or delvers. People that essentially mark valuable places and scour them for materials.
But the key point here is that they are not with Bedrock.
They have key points?
Yeah, they have key points. And yes, they are with Bedrock, which is what I was just saying.
Oh. Okay, so we got jumped and attacked by a bike bearing Bedrock insignias who attacked a fucking party that is with Bedrock.
I
He
mean,
doesn't know.
You have no idea of the affiliation of the dwarf that you are traveling with. You know that he worked at Havoc Industries.
Okay, I am going. Upon hearing this information, upon hearing that somebody that's associated with the miners we're meeting up with is now attacking us, I'm gonna call up to our fucking pseudo party leader. Hey, you've talked with these guys. They know that we are here to help them, right?
I might have forgotten to mention that.
You better fucking mention it before we get riddled.
Yeah, no, as you all are subject to witness, you see all of the bikes, about a total of 7 of them from the campsite, begin to flutter to life, and they all rise from the ground individually and start making their way towards you.
I
They're
am
slow
going.
going at first, but they start getting real fast.
I
House
am going to
waves.
sheathe my weapon. I'm gonna fucking holster my pistol and kind of like wave my hands up, like, "Hey, calm the fuck down. We're not trying to ambush you."
Yeah,
Timtom's waving friendly. Is giving a friendly
he's giving
wave.
you a friendly.
I'll fucking roll a diplomacy to try to be as
I
neutral
will
as
say
possible.
that they are way too far away for diplomacy right now.
I'm still just hiding.
Yeah.
All
the
right.
The dwarf is messing with his comm unit and being like, fuck, 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 fuck.
I
as
am
these
going-
things start rumbling towards you.
I am going to get on my own comm unit and then try to establish a comm link.
About I'd say 30 or so seconds of this come to pass before these things are within like shouting distance of you. And instead of like barreling over you, they start to part like a wave and begin driving in circles, stirring up dust that's kind of tinged with iron. And you start to realize all of these dwarves are carrying weapons, and they're all circling around you madly
they?
in bikes.
How close are they?
At this point, they're about at a 30-foot range, and they're just kind of making broad circles and shouting.
Timtom telepathically communicates to one. I was like, "Hey, we're here for the job.
Who are you targeting?
I'm gonna target the one that shot at us."
You didn't see the one that shot at you.
Oh, okay. Random guy, random one of them. He's like, "Hey, yeah, we're here for the job." And Timtom kind of like points over to his dwarf. He's like, "This guy says he knows like his second cousin, like twice removed or something over here."
Okay. On a 1, you get the leader of the party. On a 5, you get your dwarf's cousin. Anything else, it's just a random guy.
Okay.
That's a 2. So you make mental contact with somebody. You don't get any response from them. You try to focus in, and they seem to be shaking their head a bit, and they're all just screaming and shouting.
Hey, it's me, the big bear guy over here. And Timtom like raises up a hand and his like thumb pointing towards himself. Like, "Hey, we're just here for the job.
I'm gonna walk over to fucking Timtom and
No,
shove
you
him
don't.
in the.
Timtom, you wouldn't hear this.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna walk over to you and I'm gonna fucking elbow you in the gut and say, "Hey,
You don't hear
Boring.
this though. This is a telepathic communication between him and the fucking targeted.
I'm not saying I
Or-
hear the conversation. I'm just saying that I want to get his
After-
attention. I want him to say
Ah.
something."
After this contact, any other means to telepathically communicate doesn't seem to give you any results. So they start to tighten their formation, kind of forcing the party to group together just a little bit, before one of the lead ones actually cuts in its formation, gives a little bit of a burst to force it from being carried off into the distance. And you actually see that this one is got a passenger on it, hanging off of the back, kind of wielding a large old mounted gun, kind of swivels in your direction. The pilot pulls up his thick goggles, and you can see onyx black skin and fiery eyes. His beard, which is nice and curled, tucked in, and binded with rings, is also pitch black, but fiery at the beard's edge, which you're surprised his beard isn't, evaporating at the mere sight of fire. As he pulls up his goggles, "Alright, you all, mind explaining to me exactly what the fuck you're doing here?"
Shit, explaining. We're here as a protection detail. We're looking for work.
That's exactly where you parked, like, what is that, a good 200 feet from the campsite, and started sneaking up on us.
Carthen is going to
Sneaking?
give.
There wasn't any sneaking about
I'm
it.
gonna look
We're
down
looking
at our
for-
new dwarven employer. You
Yeah,
mind getting
Carthen's
this
just going
straightened
to-
out?
Yeah, Carth is going to just shove our dwarf forwards.
Yeah, we're looking for Carthen Lorik Blackmane.
So at this point, This
Lord
party leader,
Blackmantle. I'm sorry.
this party leader witnesses the dwarf being pushed up, who just kind of shrugs, and then you hear him grumbling like, "Lorik!" And you hear a shout from one of the bikes, specifically a driver. And it's actually the same shout of the person who rode above you and shot out at the ground like, "I know they're here to make agreements. They're here for amends. I was just making a joke."
I'm gonna walk forward and say, well, all right, good. It looks like we all
the
have
bike stops and pulls up, and you do see a relatively younger dwarf whose hair has been kind of shaven up into a mohawk. "Just a humble prank, that's all. Just wanted to get everybody to shit their pants before we,
sense
exchange
motive to see
words."
if that was a prank or if they were actually gonna kill us.
Yeah, go ahead. They had full intentions
I-
to surround and gun you down.
Okay, I
I'm
was
gonna
say one of
narrow
two,
my
but-
eyes at him behind my sunglasses.
Not the dwarf that you're. Okay, let me go ahead and make this clear. His cousin meant this as a prank. The rest of the dwarves took it seriously. You immediately glean from the situation that Lorik probably understood who you all were, rode above you intentionally provoking you, and then rode back to the campsite to provoke the rest of his group into taking action.
Was it Lord or York?
Lorik. All right. Well, Lorik, let's refrain from doing prank. If you're gonna put your friends in on a prank like this, make sure they actually understand the full extent of the prank. Because
My bad. I didn't mean for it to go this far.
it's fine. It's fine. Nobody got hurt. Just a light scare is all. Let's just let's make sure our communication in the future is a bit better founded.
The dark-skinned
Anyways.
dwarf continues to grumble himself and is like, "We're gonna talk later."
Would
Anyways.
prefer we don't start this practical joke of bullshit while we're trying to work a job.
Well, regardless, you, fine gentlemen, as I gesture to the crowd, are in need of a security detail, am I correct?
And kind of draws in a hiss of breath, and you see him click something on his bike, which causes it to kind of freeze in mid-motion. That way it's not drifting off without him. And he kicks one leg up and hops down into the dust. So, at his full stature, rather tall for a dwarf. He's gonna walk right up to you, braided hair and all. He's gonna extend out a hand.
I will take his hand and shake it heartily.
It
Okay,
definitely
seeing
stings.
how there's no danger anymore, I'm just gonna slip out of the rocks and just be like, "Oh hi, I'm with them."
Where
Hiding
you
in the
went?
rock.
That's where you left off to.
Yeah, no, I imagine Vaku just kind of merges out of the stone, Gmod, fucking no clip style.
It's that scene from The Simpsons where Homer disappears into the bushes, but it's the other way around, and he just melds out of the stone.
So, as if to continue your, you need a security detail, right? After the hearty shake, he gives you a good eye, and just kind of I'll be the judge of that. Alright, come on, let's go back to the camp.
All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and follow him through.
Is at this
I'm
point
gonna glance back to our tour guide with an almost annoyed sort of glare before going back to following our intrepid leader.
it's
The dwarf that you have been following,
Yes.
which again, you don't know his name, kind of looks a bit puffed up and prideful because, his pals and acquaintances just gave you all a good scare and gives you a thumbs up.
It's at
I'm
this
gonna
point I
fin-
sling my rifle over my back and wordlessly follow along.
Yeah, Carthan's weapon unmanifests as he walks along, still sort of dropped in a aggressive posture.
Yeah.
Fucking 447. Dwarves are weird. 447 here is it. Dwarves are kind of weird.
I shake my head. I'm not laying this at all their feet.
Well, maybe not. Just saying.
No, it just
Their
seems to me
humor's
like
weird.
It just seems to me like one kid thought that raising a security alarm was a good idea for a practical joke.
Put
I
my
prefer
hands in
my
my
practical
pocket.
jokes not to involve lethal weapons. But that's just me.
So, as you all begin to make way for the camp, there's an aggressive series of bike rumbles as they all begin to skirt off and try to take their former positions. Everybody gets settled down. You make your way to the campfire, which is still a kind of dying ember. But quickly, that same individual from before, this dark-skinned dwarf with a fiery beard, pulls out but almost looks like a carved, dried piece of fungus that is large enough to be reminiscent of a block of wood, and adds it to the campfire, which still is dying. And as you all approach, he's just gonna like, sit down, sit down. He's gonna put out a hand, and you watch as his fingertips begin to glow. And
I will find a
the
nice
fire immediately begins to roar, just spontaneous combustion.
How did he do that?
And you see that there are singed fingertips, almost kind of as if they had just stopped glowing as he returns his hand to a former position and sits
that
down near the campfire.
A magical
Yari's
or a
just gonna
fucking
pull out
mechanical
his
device?
computer and begin trying to analyze what just happened.
So, the both of you, will start with Enkos Orion. What skill check do you want to use to discern what just happened?
Well, his fingertips are glowing, and then the fire surged to life, and all of a sudden was there. I assume this was some type of thermogenic transference device, mechanical. So I guess engineering.
Go ahead.
This will be at a +4, mind you, because of the whole jack of all trades bullshit. Because I'm not trained in this. So 17.
You've heard. You specifically have heard of technological tattoos that allow you to conjure minor effects, such as like creating brief bursts of flame. However, whenever you look at this dwarf's skin, the typical signatures that you'd figure with that are not present. He does have deep black tattoos, but they didn't flicker to life. They seem to just be like normal ink. And more precisely, since you're so keen, you did specifically see him essentially ignite his hand and cause the campfire to combust. You didn't see any technology that you're familiar with that caused him to do that. Now with Yarich, just completely out in the middle of nowhere, you pull out your computer system that allows you to pick up on magical phenomenon, and bringing out this contraption, which has poking wires and antenna and overall kind of looks vaguely weapon-like, causes all of the dwarves to stir and put a hand on their holsters.
This is just a scanner, a type of scanner.
So as he, the lead dwarf, the dark-skinned one, sits down, it's just like, it's alright, it's alright. You pull out your computer and, what skill check did you have to make to identify the magical phenomenon?
Computers.
Alright, make me a computers check. So give me the specific wording of what this does so that I'll know from now on.
Hold on. Let me pull it back up because I could not find the specific thing on.
Because I know that you have a computer thing that kind of allows you to identify stuff, but I don't know the specifics of the rulings.
I'm gonna scroll back in your chat because I'm pretty sure I posted it there somewhere.
You should be able to open up your character and character sheet and look around at your features.
I could not find the thing in the features page. Computer. No. Feeds.
Also, though, out of character question, I thought that Tyler's computer was damaged and that he had left it with Neve to get repaired.
Different one.
Different one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got a bunch of little contraptions. His personal comm unit was damaged.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my custom rig.
What was that skill called?
I remember being very fascinated by it back then, but I don't recall what was called.
No, I don't see it in your character sheet. I'll take a look around. Classes, mechanic, tricks. Is it a magic scanner?
I believe it was something like that. Yeah.
As a standard action, you can attune your custom rig to detect the presence and nature of magical effects in the area. Are you certain that you have this as a thing?
I'm pretty sure I chose that.
You should probably figure out what tricks you have and add them to your character sheet. But, that being said, you basically get the effects of a detect magic spell. So go ahead and make a oh, you already made a computer's check. You can use this to identify the properties of command words of magic and hybrid items. And then it also allows you to use detect magic. Forgive me all, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what this does so that I know in the future. Okay, so detect magic. Spells and rituals, mystic, detect magic. Alrighty, so you wouldn't be able to make a computer's check in this instance because that is for identifying magical items. However, as soon as you pull up your little detector thing, it begins to give off readings, alerting you to essentially, first round, there are magical auras in this place. Second round, those magical auras stem from a spell. You see the wisps kind of flickering around and dancing to the dwarf's hand, which now rests on his knee as he eyeballs the rest of you.
Interesting. Okay. Yari's going to put his computers away. And I remember I could have sworn I put that somewhere in my stuff.
So, Brock Magmate. He looks around to the rest of you.
Seeing what's happening, I will stand up and announce my name, and not Ankos Orion, and then sit back down.
Vaku Kame.
Dr. Timothy Thomas.
447.
I
I'm giving you all a very discerning eye.
Out of character, what was the name again for the this man asking for?
It is Brock Magmane.
Thank you.
His eye eventually rests on Carthan, who has not yet spoken.
Okay.
Kind of gives you all a nod. What combat experience do you have?
Combat experience.
Aye. Be working with me. I need some semblance of
The
what
exact
skills you possess.
The exact instances are many and abundance, so I will tell you instead what we have fought together. A giant murderous robot mech, a gang of rat men infesting a warehouse, a vampire.
Pretty important one.
Very important one.
Gigantic wolves.
A gang of raiders, a pack of wolves, I know I'm missing something. A security detail for a.
There was a very recent event where we cleared out an entire gang up in the upper districts of the Crucible.
Right,
Lower
an entire hideout of various reprobates. That's just
And a conniving metamorphic snail.
I'm not. Yes. Right.
Oh yes, and taking down one of the most notorious kingpins on
Kill
Zavoth 3.
And kind of like deeply inhales.
And that's the work we've done
list of
together.
dead things. All right. What else do you do?
I can build a lot of things and repair things real easy.
I
can
will.
get in,
Keeping
get
you
out,
alive.
get whatever you need.
I will
Get me
stand.
whatever I
and-
need.
Yeah.
Kind
can-
of points his finger over towards the chest. Get me a beer from the cooler.
All right. He just kind of goes over there, grabs a beer, hands it over.
And kind of pops it and begins drinking with a amused smile on his face.
As he starts taking as he takes a sip out of his beer, I'll pull my flask out of my jacket and take a small sip and offer one to him as well.
So, as you all are mingling and greeting, the rest of these dirt covered dwarves are just kind of eyeballing the party. Some of them look a bit paranoid. Other ones, I would say, more specifically, a similarly dark skinned female dwarf with some long, ragged sideburns that are a deep shade of red has kind of given you all a happy glance. Like, it's good to have new people to be mingling
So,
in our group.
as my eyes scan over this rugged group of dwarves, I kind of look back towards their motorcycles and I look back at Brock. What do you need a security detail for, precisely? You all seem like you know how to handle yourselves.
Right.
Kind of pops all of his joints at once. Well, it's always good to have an extra hand. And when it comes to caverns like these, and the ruins that we delve, it's definitely nice to not be friends, acquaintances.
I'm just saying, you all seem like the rugged sort.
It's also nice whenever, he kind of scratches the back of his neck. It will be good to have extra bodies.
Right. If I had to take a wild guess here, I'd say that you all have a very specific job to do.
I
Yeah,
would,
mine.
in fact, say, as you were saying that, go ahead and make a sense motive check for me.
Ah, found it.
Oh, I can absolutely do that.
Yes, I can do that as well.
Plus 12, my highest skill.
Oh,
When
Jesus.
when the party mentions, like, why do you need us? You guys seem fairly competent in and of ourselves. The awkwardness from the leader kind of spreads to the rest of the dwarven group, and you get this innate sense, like, they've lost people.
Kind
More
of.
specifically, more recently, they've lost people.
I mean, I started this conversation, so I think I'll
So-
sense. Yeah, I don't know. I am not clued
So-
into this.
You're very
Upon,
blunt
upon
in
hearing the
conversation.
question, upon hearing the question, maybe seeing like this momentary like pain in his eyes as kind of like this question stings him for a second. I'm just gonna say, no, I understand. You have a complex operation going. I'm sure all of you have very, very specialized tasks that must be accomplished to do what you must do, and an extra gun or two to keep nuisances off your back is appreciated.
I kind of shrug my shoulders. Well, if we're extra firepower, I just have to say I'm glad I'm not guarding a bunch of civilians.
Yeah, we're quite a ragtag band here. So, you all are adept in combat. You have each of your little skills. You fix things. Can you break things open? He kind of looks over towards Yarich.
Oh, yes.
Pull things apart and rebuild them.
Cracking open locks, cracking open doors.
Kind of gives a smirk. Any other skills? He's
Okay.
looking towards the rest of the party.
I am an exceptionally sharp eye. I can serve as scouting detail. As long as I know what I'm looking for.
Could definitely
Good
use
sneak.
more of that.
I'm really good at stitching people up and making sure you don't die.
A doctor.
Also, yeah. Also, I can boost your abilities, make you a little faster, stronger, stuff like that. Increase speed, do stuff like that to other people that get a little cocky or things, stuff like that.
Use-
He
Useful for
also has
sure.
stuff that makes people unable to fight.
Not gonna ask about that one. Said you're a sneak, right? And he kind of looks over towards Valku.
Yes, sir.
How sneaky?
Very.
You have a means of talking while you're sneaking?
As
I
he
got a
starts
comment on
to, as he starts to broach the subject of Vaku, I'll kind of pipe out, "Oh, well, I'm pretty light on my feet too. If you're looking for that as well."
And
You're both sneaks then.
Your,
Remember
re-
that.
your
That
reach is-
question goes to both of you then. You have a way to talk while you're sneaking?
We have comm units, and we can also use them to send text data as opposed to spoken. So yeah, we
Gives
can
a
communicate
curt nod.
silently.
Good, good.
I mean, if it's in the indication, you didn't see Vaku at first when you rolled up on us.
Oh, I didn't see him until he told me he could do stuff for me, so. Well, anyway.
And obviously those two. I'm gonna point towards 447 and Carthen. They're good at killing shit.
If push comes to shove, yeah, we'll need that.
If push comes to shove, we'll shove.
Good, good.
A lot of
kinda
us are really
seems-
good at shoving stuff too.
He kind of seems very satisfied with like the total capacity of the group, and then turns over to that same female dwarf from before. Rafalsi, show him. And she kicks over a case, just kind of shoving it into the middle of the group right next to the campfire, which he leans over and unflicks the case and allows it to pop back up, at which point you see a small holographic projection. I would say those of you that wish can go ahead and make a culture check. However, I will describe the flat view of this place.
I do not have that skill, so I'll pass.
I have a
It
lot of that
is-
skill.
It is
I have a
flat architecture,
I
kind of
have,
dotted with lines and pillars. But from the hologram itself, you get a monumental sense of scale that kind of seems to indicate that they are trekking into ruins of a sort. I would say that of all of you, Timothy and Ankos, you immediately recognize this as architecture that would be from the ancient empire of the architects, the same people who built the terraformer on Zavod 3.
Would I automatically know it, seeing as I've worked with this stuff before?
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
Oh, architect stuff.
Text.
As I see this projection come up and identify the source of the architecture, I'm gonna perk up and lean forwards and kind of like point towards some of the chambers and the beams and all that.
Yeah,
The,
I would
various
say
features.
from your culture check, you get an immediate sense that this is not something built to change the world. This is something that is built to protect something.
So as I kind of lean up and notice all this, I'm gonna go, oh, I see. We're not just after simple ores here. We're after something else. Lost technology, maybe?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Well,
You'll figure
it's-
it out anyway.
Well, at the end of the day, I don't need to know. I just need to make sure that all of you know.
And kind of, as you all are looking at the hologram, his eyes duck up from the flickering lights back to the party, and you all get this immediate sense that if he's showing you architect ruins, there is something very clearly dangerous about this job, and the way that his discerning glare greets all of you kind of asks a question. Are you all still interested?
And he
Yarge
says
is
it's kinda
more
cracky.
interested than ever. Now he
I
thinks
crack a
about
sly
why
smile
he
and
was
say-
going to be coming to this planet in the first place. Maybe this might be what the Comet was coming here. Phoenix
Comet?
was coming here.
You all start hearing Western music blaring as Comment is walking towards the campsites.
We're gonna get shot.
Anyway,
As you say this, I'll crack a sly smile and say, "Oh, I'm more than interested."
that's great. Alright, so we're moving out here in about 5 hours. You're gonna tag along on our front runners. We're gonna enter these ruins. We're gonna scout out for a way in.
Arch nods and he begins thinking about the code he was probing for the tower. Maybe it could be used for more than just the tower. maybe it could be remade to identify more than just what the tower was doing. But
Let's
any,
not get ahead of ourselves here.
Hey,
this is more of him just thinking to himself. He's going to pull out his custom rig and begin typing away furiously,
All right, so you're
making
gonna
sure
work
he
on
has
that.
a backup of his current code, just in case he wants to go back to it someday. I'm
That
going
hey,
to
That is
Yarich.
entirely fair. We'll get to like a skill check later on during the night once you've gotten some work done on it.
Alright.
Hey, Yarich. You still got that little scavenger drone thing, right?
Oh, yes, it's. Oh. Oh. It's in the back of the wagon.
All right.
Back of the
So,
wagon.
That's
Mr.
in the ship.
Oh. Tim Tom's like, oh, well.
It's bigger than. It's basically bigger than me. I can't take that everywhere I go.
Well, if you need it to take us somewhere, just, I don't know, grab a duffel bag and I'll throw it over my shoulder. I'm like 15, 20 times your size and like 40 times your body mass.
I'll keep that in mind next time.
So, Mr. Magmane, when would you like to set off for this expedition?
Kind of gives you a shrug, like, I just said 5 hours from now.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Out of character was not did not hear that part.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Very good then. We'll make sure our weapons are in check, all of our comms are on the same subnet, and let's make some fucking money.
And it gives you all a nod.
Okay.
And as for you, and he kind of gives a point off towards the dwarf in the distance. If you ain't cutting in, you better not be listening in. And immediately, the person who escorted you here just kind of like puts both fingers in his ears and just goes la 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 and starts walking away because he's not interested in whatever the hell's going on.
I kind of look up towards him as he walks away, then look back towards our employer. You have some kind of bad blood with him?
No, it's just the Black Mantle family's eccentric.
Hmm. As I could tell from his cousin pulling that little stunt earlier.
Fucking Lorik, you little shit. And he kind of leans over and kind of friendly punches Torek on the side, who was busy talking with another person. Since you guys have broken out of negotiations and are now just kind of like socialization, Lorik leans over and just kind of gives a gentle smile. His beard's very short. He looks very young. He's got like this sprouting mohawk. The rest of his head is shaved, and he's like, you gotta admit, it gave you a good scare, didn't you?
Quite frankly,
time
what
we've
the
been
fuck
shot
were you
at.
thinking?
That could have
What?
been.
It was just a simple joke.
Listen, I've been shot at many times before, and it's damn near every single time that's ended in somebody dying.
I didn't shoot at you, I shoot at the ground at your feet.
You realize that's
You
a
know,
really thin line.
Where I come from, that's called negligent discharge.
And where I
Well-
come from, that's called you fucking missed.
From where I come from, that's called riding the edge. Black Mantles are real good at riding the edge.
Well, I guess if you wanted a test of character of some sort, you got it. I don't know. We have work to do. Let's.
No, we'll get to know each other pretty good soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of. Anyways, while we have a lot of this downtime, we should all make sure that all of our tech is squared away.
Yeah.
We should get all of our comm frequencies on the same, or get all of our communications networks on the same wavelength so that we can talk to each other during this op.
I need ammo.
Brock kind of just gives like a, this ain't my job, and leans over towards Falsey, who is that same female dwarf that kicked over the case, and gives her a wave over. She wanders over, and you see that there's a lot of gadgets lining her coat, and a revolver kind of at her side that shows that she's not really a frontline combatant so much as she is a tech expert. Sits down on one knee and looks up to you with the onyx black skin. All right, give your stuff over.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and unclip my data pad and hand it over to her so she can use it to get on our communications network.
Now, I hope you don't mind, but she's already tapping on the pad while still talking with you. I'm going to be putting this in such a way that once our business is concluded, you won't be able to trace our radio calls.
Understandable.
Fair.
Like that, she hands back your tablet and hands back your personal comm units. Kind of goes one by one towards the rest of the group, kind of gently smiling with the rest of you all before everything is synced up and you have temporary contact with the dwarves of this small expedition.
While she's working on my comm unit, you don't look like the combat sort, so I might be asking the wrong person. Know where I can get some ammo around here?
She kind of calls out into the distance. Grobrail! And you see off, just kind of away from this entire engagement, there is a dwarf who is more hare than man. Like, he is like a bush, just kind of sitting off by himself.
Oh yes, the Bushman.
And he raises
The
up his
Sasquatch.
eyebrows. Yeah, he raises up his thick eyebrows, and you see the eyes underneath looking at you, 447.
Okay, here's an
I
important
nod my
question.
head at this dwarven woman, then saunter over to the Sasquatch.
You know, upon seeing him approach with my communications unit squared away, I'm going to go ahead and get up too, because I'd like to see if I can procure some more scattergun shells just in case.
So, as the woman dwarf gets to me typing away furiously, my concentration is broken as I gladly hand over my comm unit and my custom rig over for a moment.
Yeah,
and
imagine
ask
you're
her-
working on the equivalent of a laptop and just kind of gently, without trying to be rude, since you're not really paying attention, closes the lid and then pulls it away from you and starts working on it.
Oh, right.
Just
Do
a
you have
moment, I'll
any
have this
chargers
finished.
around here that I can get my stuff back to?
Oh, I'll have to get you connected to the front runner. Come on, come on.
Yes, yes.
So you all lean over towards the side of her bike, and there is actually a couple of interesting gizmos on here. One of the things that looks like it's built onto the front of the bike itself seems to be a power connector, which she quickly connects
I'm
to
going-
more of like a small, I suppose. Go ahead and make an engineering check.
Okay, I can do that.
USB Type C charger.
Engineering plus 13.
Okay, at 20, that's easily enough. To give you more nerdy techno lingo, you get a sense that this is hooking up towards the front of the bike's actual, like, power converter supply, which has way more energy than would be safe. So connecting a rather large, thick insulated cable towards what essentially acts as a transformer or resistor that allows you to hook up independent devices and charge them directly from this vehicle's engine.
Interesting.
Basically,
I
a
might
series
have-
of technology that breaks it down into a safe energy level. That way you can charge your supplies.
I might have to do this to our engine sometime.
Well, it only works with like minor scale fusion reactors.
Yeah, each little antenna pokes up even more than they normally do as his eyes somehow widen. He looks over the bike more interested.
I mean, I guess you could try to connect your iPhone to your car battery, but just a general sense that probably won't work.
Yeah, understood.
You mean
You
the
hear Tim
guy
Tom?
phone?
You hear Tim Tom pop off with, "Have you ever tried a step-down converter?"
Who are you yelling this at? Yarich?
Yeah, Tim Tom yells at the yard. It's like, "Hey, RH, you could just get a step-down converter. Turns it from a standard 24 volts to a good old 12 volts. Maybe about 1.2 amps or 2.1 amps. Something about like
I
that.
forget
I
that
don't
Tim
need
Tom
much
actually has a
charge,
good
I just
engineering
need
skill
to
sometimes.
charge.
They're actually really easy to make. I could probably make one with some... Well, I don't have the materials to make it, but they're not that hard to manufacture.
Fun fact, Brian, Tim Tom has been learning engineering stuff from Yarich, and
Yeah.
Yarich has been learning medicinal stuff from Tim Tom.
Yeah, I just forgot that Tim Tom actually had a good engineering skill.
I have a fucking plus 10 in engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so you are walking over towards the Sasquatch.
Yes.
So
I do have an important question about Sasquatch. Is it a unkept bush or is it a well-tamed bush?
it is a unkempt bush.
Oh,
Like you are walking into a mass of hair.
And can we change the word, please? I keep hearing bush, and I just keep going to lewd places.
Yeah,
Wow,
it feels
I
like a
hate you.
70s porno where you say
No.
bush.
I'm,
Here we go again.
oh no. Okay. While everybody's getting everything squared away, after getting his comm unit checked out, Karth is just gonna sit down by the fire and sort of meditate.
So we will get to that in a second because it does provoke an interesting discussion.
Oh boy.
Yarich, you have your answer questioned, yeah.
Yeah.
And as for 447, you get to talking
And
distance of
Ankles,
this
who
dude.
is going to get scattergun ammo.
Indeed. You both
Did you call me
approach this-
ankles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't fucking do that.
Okay, Ankles.
So you approach this
Hanky.
living hairball.
Fucking shut up, Tyler.
He's just staring.
I will let 447
So
go first.
I step forward a little bit. Heard you got ammo.
So his eyebrows descend once more to roost and cover his eyes, and he goes back over towards counting through his pile, which it looks like he's actually pushing rounds into a magazine whilst you guys are talking. It's like, I need ammo. Yeah, I can do that. Sounds good.
Devin, I'd fucking kick you if I could.
How do you respond to that?
How do you respond to Boomhauer?
Well, if you have any long rifle ammo to spare, that's what I'm after. How much you charging?
You're getting long rifle ammo in there. Go ahead and put it in the magazine. Won't cost that much.
Alright, let's say I need 50 rounds. How much would that be?
Just be somewhere around. He kind of leans over and starts counting, like one round at a time.
Well, two. Three.
If you need me to, I can count them out myself.
No.
No. I got it. It's fine. 5. 6.
I kind of look over at Ankos and then look back at the Sasquatch.
When you look over at me, I kind of just like shrug my shoulders, like I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Hey, before you finish counting all that out, I want to know how much it's gonna cost so we don't waste much time here.
It would be a simple question. I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm gonna
Pulls out
raise,
an abacus.
I'm gonna raise my hand and say, actually, maybe I've changed my mind. What do you have for thrown ordnance, like grenades?
I'll put it in a virtue, so I'll finish this first, and then we'll get a second deal, okay?
What?
Okay.
Can I roll something to decipher this?
What skill do you want to use?
Linguistics
want-
would be great.
That probably would be
Linguistics
great.
probably would be the skill
I'm going to
use.
use perception to see if I can understand what
Actually,
the
wait,
fuck
is
he's even
linguistics
saying.
even a skill in this?
It's not.
system?
It's not. Oh, it's culture.
Oh, okay.
Culture.
Culture,
Okay,
rather.
I'm gonna roll
Culture.
culture to converse with this fucking thing.
Okay.
17.
I'm
14.
gonna say that.
Shit
I'm gonna say
roll.
that the DC is 15, just because that's like the moderate difficulty stage. So, Ankos, you were trying to decipher this grumbling thing's speech, and there are some dialects that you kind of have to understand in your career as a detective, where you're having to break down people that live in rural environments that aren't really used to talking to people that come from civilization. And you get an immediate sense that this is like one of those rural outback dwarfs. Like, he's not used to being around people. That's why he's staying away from everybody.
Right. I'll call back my experience of having to watch
You-
footage of a bunch of nomads being interviewed, and this is gonna. That's gonna.
You also get a sense that, like, what he said was that patience is a virtue. And that once we finish this deal, we'll finish the other one.
Okay. As he says this, I'm gonna kind of go. Understood. And take a step back and just fold my arms and
So-
wait for 447 to conduct his
With
dealings.
with fingers that more resemble bricks than any dexterous limbs, he sets down a case of 50 rounds of ammunition and goes, somewhere somewhere like 150 credits. Sound good?
50 or 15?
150.
150. Jesus. I
You're looking for a lot of ammunition. You got like stockhouse supplies.
I
And
reckon you're right. I look.
Come on, my sword.
I fucking pull out my cred stick and realize, oh shit, I only have 60 credits. How much would 30 credits get me?
Kind of sniffs. You say 30?
Yeah, let's say 30 credits. How much would that get me?
Say 10 rounds.
Kind of shrug my shoulders. It'll have to do. I hand over
Kinda.
30 credits and take basically what would amount to me as most of a magazine.
He kind of nods and breaks open one of the boxes and starts counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this one looks a little rusty. I'm gonna put it back. 5,
Appreciate it.
6. I didn't even know brass could rust, you know?
It happens sometimes.
8, 9, 10. And as he gathers up all of the ammunition, he kind of holds out his hand where it's supposed to be above yours, and he kind of drops it gently into your hands.
And with that, I leave the cred stick on the table.
Don't blow your fingers off.
Nice doing business with you. And I return to the campsite.
And he looks over towards Ankos.
All right.
And in the moment that you're not speaking, his eyebrows rise up on his face to reveal his eyes once again, and you get a sense that he's just trying to make sure that you're still there. And they descend.
God. I'm gonna step forward and ask him, well, I doubt it's gonna be in my price range, but what do you have for throwable ordnance? Hand grenades, flashbangs.
And he turns around towards all of the there are an assortment of cases here. Actually, go ahead and give me a perception check just to look at them all.
Ooh, yes, sir. 2. Skill monkey time.
So, you look at all of this inventory and are immediately amazed by just how much explosives that this dwarf is carrying on him. Like, you'd be afraid to be around him with an open flame, but this dude is essentially surrounded by the equivalent of a ticking time bomb.
Lamp oil.
There are
Bombs.
smoke grenades, concussion grenades, defoulant grenades, dye grenades, frag grenades, hollow grenades, shot grenades, sticky bomb grenades, fastball grenades, anti-grav... Oh, I think I already said anti-grav grenades. No, I didn't. Decouplers, flash... Hell, you even see something about there being a holy water grenade.
Oh man, he got a great
Dynamite,
supply here, man.
nitroglycerin.
So upon hearing about all the different kinds of grenades this guy has, Vok is just gonna be like, I could use some smoke grenades and concussion grenades.
Oh,
Kinda
hey,
gives
hey,
you a
step the
thumbs
fuck
up.
back. I've got some business.
Kind of gives you a thumbs up, but goes like, patience to virtue.
All right. You know, I think the tried and true classics are really the best option here. So, I think, how much would it run me for 1 frag grenade and 1 flashbang grenade?
It depends. What kind of quality of grenade do you want?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. Fairly low quality. My credit amount is not great. Now,
He fetches into
that
his
does...
rucksack and sets down a singular frag grenade. That'll be 35 credits.
Okay, well, I can take that. It'll leave me with nothing, but I can take that. Now, here's my question. How do you feel about layaway? We're all gonna be on the same job together, and These munitions don't do anyone no good if we're dead.
Explain to me
So,
what a layaway is.
I finish the job, I get paid from the job, I pay you that money for the grenade.
Kind of scritches his beard.
Listen, think about it. Either that grenade sits in your stash with no user, or you go in the red for a little bit for something that could save your or my life.
Oh, yeah, but, go out. But that was pretty dangerous. And, you gotta account for all the extra stuff. Like, what happened? You just blow up.
Well, if I just blow up, you can take the grenade off my body.
Well, we blow up with a grenade.
I guess so, but here's the thing, though, guy. If I'm on your security detail, if I blow up, what do you think's gonna happen to you?
Guess I'll blow up too.
Fair. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, what were you thinking?
I'm thinking that, I've only got about $1 left to my name. You give me that flashbang grenade, I'll pay you back after the job. Now, how much do you want for it in post-mortem?
Oh, what does that mean?
Well, post-mortem's the wrong term here. I would say once the job's... What's your asking price? I'll pay you that once we're finished. If you want interest, I can provide that too.
Yeah, he slips the flash grenade out of its case and sets it down on the humble container that you all are using as a table, and he goes, 120.
120 for that?
Good grenade.
Yeah, it is a good grenade. Alright, so I'm gonna... Oh, yo, I'll pay you my last credit. My last credit. After this job, I pay you 119 out of the paycheck we get from, your boss. How does that sound?
Sound pretty good.
And if I don't use the grenade, I can just give it back to you.
Kind of gives you another nod. Like, you get a sense that this guy isn't necessarily a merchant. So yeah, that sounds good to him.
Alright. Sounds like a good deal to me, my friend. And I'm
Alright,
gonna...
so you go ahead and take up the frag grenade. Where do you store it?
So the frag grenade... Let me see. I don't know if I have a I'll say that the belt that I have for my detective bullshit...
Has loops.
Yeah, I'd say that I can at least hang the spoons off
So,
of my belt.
Terrible
yeah, no.
idea, by the way, kids. Don't ever do that.
You go ahead and clip
got a
both of
pan,
these
I'm
grenades
fine.
to your belt.
Yeah.
I would say that I will allow you to equip a singular grenade and have it at the ready, just to like throw. You don't even have to pull it out.
Alright, I will equip my flash grenade at the ready.
Alright, so flash is primed and ready to be thrown, even if you're just kind of like fighting. You don't need a movement action to draw it or anything. Same goes for you, anybody who wants to use a grenade. I'll say that you can have one equipped in addition to your regular armaments.
Oh shit, cool.
Hey,
Okay.
Levi, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can I look around for, say, a metal container that isn't being used? Small ish.
There's a bunch of metal containers around here, and they're all designed to be strapped to these bikes. So yeah, there's a container. What are you trying to do?
Pipe bomb.
Hmm?
Shotgun pipe bomb. Shotgun shell pipe bomb.
pipe bomb.
Remember how Tim Tom tried using shotgun shells to make a pipe bomb?
Oh, you're gonna try and make one again?
Yeah. This time, like, Tim Tom just goes up, finds, like, I guess, a bunch of, like, just
Okay.
scrap metal and, like, a fucking soup can or something.
Alright, how many shotgun shells are you breaking down?
I will break down the remainder of my 16 shotgun shells.
Jesus, okay, so you start one by one disassembling these shotgun shells.
Also, I'm
I'll
putting the
say-
pellets. I'm putting the pellets in there too. Extra frag.
I'll say that every 5, and we'll start with a cluster of 6 to begin with, needs an engineering check.
So,
Tim Tom walks away from the camp. Tim Tom, as he kind of passes by, he's like, "Hey, Yarich," and he hands him, and Yarich, Tim Tom hands Yarich a med patch. If you hear an explosion, use this. I'm gonna be dealing with it.
gonna tilt his head. Look
I'm
up.
I'm dismantling shotgun shells to manufacture an explosive device.
Remember how well that
Yes.
worked?
Yes, but I know what I did wrong. I won't do it this time. Oh, Tim Tom holds up. It's like, Tim Tom has like a big piece of metal next to him. He's like, last time, static electricity. I'll use this piece of metal as a grounding point.
I am learning.
Timothy, I swear to God.
You just hear,
I will say that if you fail the check, that doesn't mean it detonates. If you fail it by 5 or more, it detonates.
Okay.
So since I'm back at the campsite, I'm gonna look at Timothy doing this, and I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna find somewhere to sit that isn't near you.
Alright, so first check, you go ahead and start working on the first 6. You break them down, you essentially split them apart with whatever engineering tools you have on hand. I'll even say that since Yarreach is busy and you don't have engineering tools, you have to borrow Yarreach's.
Okay.
So you start breaking down these shells one by one and collecting their assembled mass into a tin can which you have on hand. Now, the first 6 go without problem. What about the next 5? 21, even better, smoother than before, breaking down all 5 of them, putting them in the can. What about the last 5?
By the will of Allah. Oh no.
The 13. You start breaking them down, and you start to notice drifting through the air. You're trying to basically collect it into a small temporary container as you're breaking them down. The wind in the cavern picks up and starts blowing away the powder. What do you do in response to this?
And Tom puts a can over top of the temporary container.
Yeah, you quickly slap it down and just kind of like, okay, don't want to lose this ship. I'm gonna say that 2 charges out of the 5 are lost. However, you collect the rest of it and put it into the can. You have your collection of, for all intents and purposes, explosive material. Now what?
And Tom pours the explosive material. Like, okay, so Tim Tom puts all the pellets from the shotgun into the can, and then he pours the powder around the shotgun shell, so that way when it goes off, it just throws them off in all random directions.
Alright, so you start mixing this stuff up together. What next?
Tim Tom, Yarreach, you hear Tim Tom, "Hey, Yarreach!"
Yeah, he's just going to close his eyes for a moment.
Yeah, you have to close your laptop because you're still working on your program. You hear that you're being called over towards the explosive manufacturing station.
Don't come over here. Do you have any duct tape?
So I'm just gonna break up a tiny piece.
No, I need like the whole roll.
No, you're not getting the whole thing. You're not
I'm
gonna
not
waste.
gonna use the whole thing. I just gotta get the cap covered and like do a couple layers.
Let me do this. Let me do this.
I don't feel comfortable with you touching explosives. It blew up on me last time. This stuff's like really sensitive. I had a little bit of dust blow away, and I grabbed it a little quickly, and I was really scared it was gonna blow up.
Alright, well, you guys have fun. I'm getting out of the blast radius now.
Yarich is going to take up enough of the ion tape he has just to cover the top.
Alright, so, just to warn you, this is it has a weak adhesive that keeps the tape in place when it's wrapped around an object. So you go ahead and bind this thing, you bind the top of it.
To cover it up.
Alright,
Tom
so...
looks at it, it's like, are you sure that's gonna hold?
I'll be back.
I'm gonna be throwing this. I don't want the thing to come undone.
We gotta do this gently. I'm going to make sure the can's extra grounded. And I'm going to try to gently use one of my single charges from my battery.
Stops, grabs the hand. Like, what part of last time I did this static shock set it off?
You can redirect it by directing it to the ground. It'll
So
only go through.
I'm going to say, yeah, you can attempt to do this carefully, that way it does not arc. It is a weak electric shock that you can use. Who had the pen that activated, like it gave a little thin shock? That was Dog. I'm gonna say Dog's pen goes to you. I'm gonna say that somehow you managed to discover Dog's pen.
Alright.
and it emits a small electric charge. So give me an engineering check, and if you fuck this up, it goes off.
I will assist him in this. I will assist. I will roll to assist.
So you both gently set the can down. You pull out the pen. You make sure that this thing is grounded with like wires leading towards an assortment of metal that way the current can bleed off. You put the pen up against the metal to prevent it from arcing, and gently click.
Right as he does that, Tim Tom's eyes are closed and he's kind of looking away from it. One eye opens up.
I'm going to tap the top of what used to be tape.
It is about as hard as, let me quickly check. Almost as hard as steel.
I'm sweating.
Almost like a steel container.
Tim Tom picks it up, kind of hefts a little bit, looks at the can, looks at the top that we just made, looks around. I forgot the ignition source. Hey, do you have a drill?
Watching from a distance with my enhanced zoom from my cyber
Alright.
glasses, just waiting for somebody to blow up.
You just see it. Tim Tom stops, looks up in the far left corner of the screen. It's like, hey, why is there a Live Leak logo on our screen?
You're just going
Lord.
to... Do we have any small batteries that could be used for arcing?
Small batteries for arcing. Oh, you want to attach a battery to this thing?
Essentially, he wants to make a, like, an arc, like something that can produce an electric arc. So
Shit,
it'd have an
okay.
electronic firing mechanism.
Yeah, make an engineering check. If you fail by 5, the bomb goes off.
I will assist him I will help him assist.
Assistance is futile.
Oh, thank God.
29. Do you just use one of your batteries, Yarich?
I don't use... I'm going to take the battery out of the pin to use.
Out of the pen.
Out of the pin that...
Okay, so you're basically sacrificing the pen, because it has a built-in battery. You have to break it apart.
Hang on, I'm gonna see if I have anything I could use.
If anyone has a battery.
Okay. Instead of using a battery,
Okay, I'm back for now.
we could use a chemical...
What if we did? Tim Tom looks at one of the the primers. We could just use some of these primers and create a mechanical spring device using a nail, some springs.
Yaj is going to go over to 447.
Hmm.
Do you have a bullet you can spare?
Oh, he already broke apart a bunch of shells. Like, you
Yeah.
saw the severed shotgun caps that were
No, I'm
scattered
going
on
to
the
use a
table.
bullet
Ugh.
to
Look, I just spent half of my entire budget on 10 rounds.
Justin. Yaj is going to go back and...
What do you guys got on your rope? Or like something that, like a fuse? Hello?
Yaj is going to think for a moment. Do we have anything that could be used to create a volatile chemical reaction upon combining?
Jesus.
I would say you could try, but it would be a physical science check, and we would erase your previous engineering check.
I understand.
I have a really good physical science. I have a +10 to physical science.
I have a +12, so...
I will also say that using your stuff, you would probably have to abandon some kind of medical supply in your care, because none of you are really carrying chemical kits.
Fair enough.
I don't want to lose any of my batteries, and
Tom starts looking around for pieces of scrap metal. He's going to make a mechanical firing device out of the percussion caps from the shotgun shells and whatever loose springs or metal pieces he can find.
Alright, in that case, we'll go ahead, since we've diverted so much from the battery plan, that you guys start to think about that, and then give up, and then come back to this, and start using a bit of the scrap that Yarich has collected to try and assemble a mechanical firing mechanism. So, you, Bear, engineering check.
Alright, I'm going to need your help, because if not, this is going to kill us both. Oh, thank God, nat 20.
Natural 20. So, you finally assemble your terrifying contraption. It has
just going to go back
maybe,
to his program.
if you're lucky, a half-second prime. You click something into place, it waits maybe a half-second, and then the hammer, the spring, essentially slams down on the percussion cap and causes the entire device to explode.
Wait, what?
You've essentially developed a small half-second trigger. You hit something, the hammer swings down, hits the percussion cap, and it fucking just goes off.
Okay, so it'd be like an impact trigger.
It is essentially, you hit the button, you throw it, it goes off.
In your hand.
Not in your hand. You have like a half-second.
Okay.
So it sounds like you should throw it and then wait until it's above your target and then set it off like an airburst device.
It's mechanical.
Tom looks around, finds a random piece of string that's about fucking like 4 or 5 feet long, ties it to the pin, wraps it around the thing so that, real carefully, be like, okay, so when we throw it, you hold onto the string, throw it, the string hits the pin, pulls the pin, it goes off, then kaboom.
I am glad I am watching this from a distance.
Yeah.
Yarich has abandoned.
Hey,
help
while
him.
these guys are getting their fucking tangent about setting this off, I want to approach 447 and I want to like present one of the grenades I got from the dwarf and I want to say, "Hey, can you show me exactly how to use one of these things because I've never held one of these before."
Not much to it.
Arthur's unaware of Tim Tom's mania.
Nope.
I'm going to show Ankos how to pull the pin on and throw a grenade.
Well, there's more than that. There's also a clip that's holding the spoon, and you have to flick that away, and then there's the pin, and then how long do I have? Long story short, I just want to make sure that I know exactly what I'm doing.
So you go ahead and go off and train with the soldier and rehearse a bit of how to throw a frag grenade.
Tim Tom is like with this fucking container in his hand, comes back to camp. Hey guys, look what I made.
I am nowhere
God.
near this.
I imagine you come back to camp, but enough time has passed.
I just wanted to buy a couple of grenades.
Enough time has passed to the point where we can go through several people's things. So, Vaku, do you approach the living hairball?
I will be back.
Yes. Vaku, inquire. Oh. Yeah.
So
Vaku goes up to the living furball and inquires about purchasing some smoke grenades and concussion grenades.
How much you want?
Like a couple of each.
Puts down 2 smoke
I'll
grenades.
be back again.
80 credits.
How much?
80.
For 2?
80 credits.
Alright. And how much for the 2 concussion grenades?
Kind of rubs his head. 100 credits. Total 180.
180. But I only have 170.
It's okay, it's okay. He kind of pushes both of them at you.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just buy them. Thank you.
So as you hand off this stuff, again he repeats, "Don't blow up."
I'll be fine.
All right. So
Yeah,
you
you
now
just
have
going
in your
to.
possession 2 smoke grenades and 2 concussion grenades. Here are your smoke grenades. Here are your concussion grenades.
Cool. I am now out of money.
Nice. You can also feel
If it-
free to equip one of them along with your current supply. So which one do you equip?
If it makes you feel any better, Vaku, I'm 119 credits in the red right now.
I guess I'll just equip the one of the smoke grenades.
All right. Go ahead and clip that onto your belt next to your side. All right. So anybody else want to resolve anything before I go on?
Finishing my program if I still have enough time.
All right. We'll do that, and then we'll come back to the meditating individual. So, Tyler, give me a computer's check. You spend the rest of the night working on your code. Now, give me specifics. This is designed to interface with architect computer infrastructure. What design is this program supposed to perform? What is its purpose?
Its purpose is to identify other purpose. The purpose of a facility.
So, this program is designed to be inserted into a device. It will identify the purpose of the structure and then
Yes.
inform you as to that purpose.
Yes.
Okay, what computer are you putting this program in?
My specialized custom rig.
So you're putting it in your custom rig?
Yes. And
Alright,
I'm
so
making
you finish all night working on this little program, and you get it to what you think is a pretty good point. Like this would have worked with the terraformer had you used it on it.
Yes.
And I mean, this is just surface level identifying what things are. So this is still interfacing with architect computer systems, which is insanely hard. But you rolled a 35.
Yeah. That's basically what I've been trying to do is identify what the original tower was going to be doing. So
Right, right.
I think this is a
Okay,
good
I'm back.
computer. I'm happy with my programming.
Alrighty, so you go ahead and close your laptop. And as you do that, we come back to the meditating individual. And Kurthan,
Yes.
are you just chilling out in front of the campfire?
Yeah, more or less.
I imagine that whilst you're just trying to get into some state of peace, letting the flames kind of crackle and warm your skin, you start thinking back to the cold, shrouded mountains of your old temple, and the roaring fires that you and your kindred used to build together. And that almost warm memory is kind of brushed away whenever a cracking, grumbling voice kind of breaks in, sweeping the dream aside. I've seen that kind of look before.
And Harp is going to open up one of his
return.
yellow eyes and sort of flick it over. Is it Brock that's talking to him?
Brock has definitely caught your attention. In one hand, he is holding another beer, and the other, he is holding a sandwich.
And Karth is going to nod a bit and open up his other eye. Familial memories help settle one before going into anything rough.
Something bad happen? You Grey Order types don't just go running around.
I've got things to work on before I go back anytime soon.
So he kind of sniffs just a little bit, takes a drink. You have to elaborate if you don't want to, but... Any friend of the Grey Order's a friend of mine.
And Carthan is gonna nod a little bit. Recalling back to the fire, does Carthan understand that it was arcane in nature just from the action?
I would say, do you have mysticism?
I do.
Then make a mysticism check.
Happily.
So a 13, you understand that what he did was some kind of magical effect.
Okay. It was a nice trick that you pulled with the fire earlier.
Aye, it's, blood given.
And Carthan is going to gesture up to his stellar moat. Same as these, then.
He kind of narrows his eyes like, didn't realize, Grey Order magic runs in the blood. Are you all like a big family?
It just appears in young ones.
So it's special, like genetics?
Something.
Kind of nods. The Magmane family has a connection to the deep things in the earth.
Interesting. I've never heard of sentience getting to form that type of bond. Willingly, at least.
So he sets down his sandwich and pulls out his arm, and you can see all of the tattoos just kind of decorating. A long time ago, when my family were still together, we had a communal bond with a fire elemental, one that was very old, very powerful. Lets me conjure up things. It's really the only thing I have left of them. Aside from, he kind of nods over to where the female engineer is kind of currently working alongside the bike. Aside from Rhea Falsi, of course.
Is she your kin, then?
Aye, sister.
One thing that we in the Order don't really get to know is our original families.
Sounds like it kind of sucks. Clan and kindred is everything.
In the Order, you're taught about things that are bigger than blood, so makes up for it, but family that close, you just don't see in our folk.
Kind of looks down. Sounds kind of lonely. A bunch of people you're not even related to. You at least got a sense of purpose.
That's what I'm out here finding, at least right now.
So, he kind of scoops up a bit of the dirt and lets it slip between his dwarven fingertips. Think you and I are a lot alike. Trying to find purpose.
It's good to see a kindred spirit. And Carthel just lightly crack a smile.
This dwarf too will let a cracked obsidian grin form. I would say you have culture, right?
I do not.
You do
sadly.
not. I'd say from your time interacting with this individual, you get a sense that he and, of course, Rare Falsi are not just typical dwarves. They might be some kind of different subrace.
Okay.
That being said, you continue to just kind of chat and make merry with the rest of our crew and, eat, drink. It is provided here. They've got simple stuff. course, they've got fucking beer in case you want to get drunk before
I apparently
important
had a
mission.
meal previously on me, so I'm going to pull that out and
Tim Tom will eat and make merry with our newfound
oh,
hosts.
never mind.
What is the buff beer, Levi?
The buff beer. Okay, roll a d100.
Roll a d100. Okay. 4.
So, if you partake in their particular assortments and varieties of alcohols, they've got beers and kind of like rough brews. Nothing's great here. These are basically dwarves on the run. They're nomads for all intents and purposes. However, one does pique your interest, and it seems to have a winding serpent just kind of alongside it. And the cover of it seems to entitle that this is like a strong brew for mighty individuals. And you go ahead and shrug, because, you're mighty yourself.
Oh boy.
Impart yourself. What you find is that this leaves you with a definite spice, more so than just alcohol. Like, this has definitely got like an almost cinnamon to it. And you would gain, for the upcoming encounter, 5 temporary hit points.
Okay.
So basically just drank some Fireball.
I'd say it's... I've never actually had Fireball, so honestly I couldn't say.
It's nothing too worried. It's nothing too special to write home about.
All I've heard
It's
about
just-
Fireball is that it's like the basic bitches drink.
Yes.
It's just a really sweet, really spicy cinnamon whiskey.
I don't know what sounds so bad about that.
Lane's addicted to it.
I have always heard the term
Lane
cin-
sounds like he has good taste.
I've always heard the term cinnamon whiskey and thought, oh, that sounds horrid.
It's just spicier whiskey. Let's
Yeah.
not make bones about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Um,
sounds so bad about that. Why can't you enjoy a sweet whiskey?
I don't know.
I mean, isn't whiskey just kind of naturally sweet?
Yarich will just.
It's
start
like
this
corn
with the
sugars.
sandwiches
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I actually have some turtle, like some, like pecan caramel whiskey that
Shit,
actually
okay.
like is amazing.
Sounds nice. Anyway, this stuff probably isn't a Fireball, but that's the best rough estimation I could give for it.
Yeah.
So, you go ahead and take part. The food that they have here, the sandwiches, are like a rough, tough, hearty bread. It's got kind of like a soot stain on it, but the meats themselves are unidentifiable. Like, you're really not certain what kind of creature this came from, and it's kind of a strange, almost dirty meat, if that makes sense. Kind of like how a catfish smells like the lake.
Okay.
Mystery meat sandwiches. Fun.
Human meat.
Mmm.
So, you all chill out, and as you settle in for maybe a good 2.5 hour rest, I would suggest that we take a little bit of a break so we can come back.
If we're taking a rest, do we get hit point restoration?
Yeah.
How much?
Let me quickly check. Because I believe that we've done plenty of long rests, but we haven't ever taken a short rest before.
So my computer just died out of fucking nowhere.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on
So
again?
short rests, they are for recovering stamina points, and it's 10 minutes of uninterrupted rest. Recovering hit points naturally requires a full night's sleep.
Okay, then.
So maybe if you guys wanted to kind of peruse and schmooze your way in and say, maybe we don't go in 5 hours, maybe we go in 8.
I think that'd be wise. I'm doing okay on hit points, but I'm wounded still.
Yeah, I'm wounded too. I'm 23 out of 30. So
Who wants to buffer an extra 3 hours out of Brock?
Preferably someone who's actually good at talking and negotiating.
I
Not to
would love
mention,
to if I could get to my fucking computer.
I'm at full HP and stamina, so...
I will also say that when it comes to diplomacy, if you are friendly with that individual, the DC will be lower. If you're just an acquaintance, it could be higher.
When my
Yeah.
computer comes back up, I will gladly do so, but I literally had to hit the power switch on the back of my fucking computer because it did not want to turn itself off.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
So,
this is fucking scary.
Ankos, why not come talk to Karth about it and then assist him on the diplomacy, because Karth's diplomacy is actually really good as well, and then you can
And you
bank
have
off a
friendly
lower
relations with
DC.
Brock.
I mean, I guess you could make the roll initially, and I could provide the assistance when I get back on. Either way, I need to make my goddamn roll.
I mean, I can pull your sheet open and make a, a diplomacy roll.
I
All right,
too.
go ahead and do it. Mind you, I have assistance, so I have an additional +1 on assist rolls.
Good to know.
Yes.
Alright, so you've beaten the DC of 10, which should add a +3 instead of a +2 modifier to your diplomacy check.
+3?
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead, we'll do this in a roleplay thing, and then Ankos can add something on top of it.
Yeah. So while resting at the campfire, Karth is gonna kind of look around, and seeing that the rest of the party is also a little scuffed up still, lean over to Brock. I think that the rest of us are going to need a little more rest before we head out. It's
Brock
been
kind of lifts up an eyebrow. Go ahead.
just because it's taken the trek out here, and we haven't really stopped for resting since landing on Castellum.
Ankos, anything you want to add to that?
He's probably switching over or something.
Yeah. No, can you hear me?
Anything you want to add to that?
Okay. Last thing said because I lost because of the fucking.
He basically said, we're roughed up, can we get more rest?
All right, I'm gonna add in. Yeah, we kind of just got got tossed in the back of the truck. Didn't really have a whole lot of time to actually prepare for our next job here. So a little bit of extra downtime would be great.
All right, Devin, go ahead and make your diplomacy roll with a +3 modifier. 20. So, Brock kind of grumbles to himself and rakes his fingers through his long black beard. Well, was a specific reason why we were heading out in 5, but I can make do with 8. You all get some rest.
Could I imbibe in some of the dwarven liquor?
Yeah, why not? Roll a d100.
Yeah.
62. So, you go ahead and just kind of sift through the general variety of stuff that they have here. What you do find is that, going through here, there is a bottle that almost seems to be like a charcoal front. It has a rough stone kind of imagery stapled onto it, and then it has a couple of like metal trimmings. You go ahead and undo this thing. It is a invigorating and a foamy kind of brew. Like as soon as you pop the cork off of it, it immediately starts hissing at you. As you down it, it definitely has almost like this definite carbonated vibe.
Yes.
I would say that once you have downed it, and it really just tastes like alcohol, there's nothing special aside from it just being like a fizzy drink. You feel kind of pepped and perked up. I would say that for the coming encounter, let me go ahead and take a quick look at your scores. So, Vaku, for this next encounter, you will get a +2 strength modifier.
Ooh. Nice.
You just feel kind of invigorated and strengthened.
Give me a temporary strength of 17.
So,
You are, I think, the only person stronger than Carthan at this point.
Yes.
And it took beer.
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 Once I heard the Rocky emblem on it, I realized he was getting a strength check.
Let's see. Modifiers temporary. Add in.
Tyler,
You'll
were you
refer to
sleeping in
this
the
as
bed?
Backbreaker.
No, I went to grab me some cornbread.
Abilities scores.
Let's talk about
strength.
Minecraft.
Situational modifier. We'll just do constant for now. Alright, so. Well, you
Thanks.
all go ahead and enjoy a short break. I am going to go use the restroom and maybe try to find something to eat.
Cool.
Okay.
Reckon I'll pause the recording for now.
Okay, you can start the recording.
Thank you.
Hey Brian, is the recording running?
Yeah.
Okay, you can start the recording.
Yeah, okay.
So, where we last left off, our intrepid party was trying to make some meth. Just joking. Alright, so you all enjoy your rest, and by the time that you wake, there's no real sense of daylight here because cave. But when you all arise, the rest of the dwarves are getting packed. They are taking the crates, they're taking the temporary stuff that's been set up. They are all loading it on, strapping it down, fitting it to their bikes.
I don't want to walk us back too far, but I think at some point during the rest, I would like to send a text message on my comm unit to Karth. And the content of that message will be, I'm only doing it this way because I don't want to alert our employers or Ankos. But I think before we embark on this mission, we need to talk about what happened with the leg.
So, okay. Carl reply on his pad, but for the sake of us moving forward, I'll message you, Brian.
Okay.
So we are so the dwarves are packing up, getting
Alright.
ready to head
I
out.
thought you guys were engaging in some text messaging.
I think they are doing it on the.
I guess Devin wants to just actually send a fucking Discord
Yeah.
message over that.
That way no one knows what's going on.
Based.
Secrecy is important.
Okay, so, since that is apparently a thing, yeah, the rest of the dwarves are getting packed up. The thing that you all would notice is that there appears to be 4 of the casts that you've met. There's Lorik, there's Grobro, there's Rear Falsey, and then there's Brock. That being said, though, the other 4 dwarves, which you guys have not introduced yourselves to, are loading up onto their bikes. They're taking 4 of the 3 bikes, and they're each like 2-person, kind of getting rigged up. And as soon as you guys kind of wake up and start getting around, Brock kind of leans over on a rock and puts his elbow on his knee and just kind of goes like, good morning to you all.
Morning.
Of course.
Wait,
So-
is it actually morning? Tim Tom looks at his watch.
It's still dark everywhere. So, you all ready to get moving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was ever.
We all restore 4 points of health, by the way.
Yep. So apply it if you have not yet.
Right. Which of you's driven a front runner before?
A what?
I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I will say...
He kind of pats the side of his bike appreciatively.
I look towards it. I've been pretty extensively trained on general vehicle operation. If it has a standard engine array, I can typically figure out what I'm doing pretty quick.
Tim Tom kind of like rubs the back of his neck. I technically don't have a driver's license.
I mean,
Also, I failed my driver's exam like
Alright,
4
you're
times.
riding shotgun then.
I can probably figure one out if I have to.
And it makes you our second driver. So,
If you failed your driver's license,
He points
why
at
did you have that
447.
buggy?
I look towards him as he points
It
at
was
me.
given to me, and I just kind of used it.
And you didn't have a valid driver's license.
Oh God, no! I've gotten several speeding tickets as a result. I've gotten several tickets as a result.
Oh. Oh boy.
So, Brock had pointed at 447, and then he points a thumb over towards an unoccupied bike. You and the bear get the Tigress.
Understood.
And he kind of points over towards Ankos. You get the Slasher, and he points over towards the other one.
Understood.
Did you name these?
Whole crew's name these.
The crews name them. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Levi? Okay. Oh. What wonderful and creative titles. I think dwarves are neat.
Is there any sarcasm in your voice?
No, actually, he's being actually kind of genuine. He's like, dwarves are neat.
Alright, and he kind of looks towards the rest of you. The bug and the bird, as well as Devin. You kind of get a sense that he's thinking. I think that you, and he kind of points at Carthan, should go with, you should go with Angos.
Sounds fine to me. As Karth sort of stands up to his full height and gives a twist where his entire back pops.
Bam. Alright. You, and he kind of points at Vaku and the bug, which you use better at driving.
I raise my clawed hand.
Yeah.
Then that settles it. Bug, you're in the driver. Vaku, you're in the passenger.
Alright.
Yari's just gonna get on and make sure he can actually reach these things.
And careful, that one's called the devil for a reason.
Understood.
So, you all go ahead and load onto your bikes. Brock comes over and starts telling 447 how to operate his. In the meanwhile, fucking Rear Falsey comes over and starts talking to Yarich about it. And then finally, Lorik comes over and goes to talk with Ankos about it. And the overall thing that you get, these dwarves seem kind in their instruction, but stern. Like, this is how you operate this. They're not really fond of reiterating things. So they make sure that you guys get a comfortable sense of how these things power up. And you all come to the understanding that these vehicles, these things called front runners, they are essentially hover bikes that are used for transporting through rough terrain.
Alright.
So you get an idea. They run you through the complicated processes of bringing this thing's fusion reactor to life, and how to get it to gently set off, the general idea of like how to brake, how to put an emergency stop if you all are, you know, in a tough situation, and more importantly, how to steer and how to go, which, for all intents and purposes, are essentially bike controls.
Cool.
As you all are introduced to these vehicles, eventually, they each seem pretty satisfied that you all know what you're doing, and you all begin the rumbling. Starting of the engines, they all flare to life with a as they rise from the floor, and you each.
How loud are they?
Oh, they're very loud.
Hey! Oh wait, no. Tim Tom doesn't have to scream. Excuse me. Do you happen to have earplugs? Hearing protection is very important when being around loud machinery and equipment.
I imagine that Brock, who is still kind of showing 447 the general idea, like looks over his shoulder at you, Timothy, and is like, "You're what?"
Hearing protection. It's usually considered kind of not very
He
good
kind
to
of
have.
waves you off and starts walking away.
Ah!
I don't think he likes me.
So he gets
Indeed.
settled down on his bike. The rest of them, Lorik and or Falsey both get on their bikes. The rest of the dwarves, you all noticed Grobril, the guy who's literally a living beard, he is a driver.
Oh
Where-
god.
I am not gonna comment on this.
Yeah, Grobril puts on his goggles and kind of like folds it on top of his hair and his massive eyebrows that obscure his actual eyes as he takes a hold of the controls.
Wait, so like the fucking goggles just go over the massive hair?
Yes.
Fucking great.
So as he snaps on his goggles and begins to set off, you guys are now in control of these 3 vehicles. To give you an idea, the people who are sitting driver's side have like partial cover because they're kind of in the midst of this machine. The people that are riding passenger, you essentially are hooked up to a harness, which has to be kind of tied around you and hooked into the back of this machine because they are, for all intents and purposes, hover trikes, and they have more supporting mass on the rear end. So you get your rigs hooked up, you're all nice and buckled in, and the drivers, Angos 447 and Yarreach. You go ahead and start following.
Yes.
These hover discs kind of supporting these moving trikes, these front runners, begins pushing it forward, and you all start speeding
I
off.
kind of grin behind my helmet. This thing is mean.
Yeah, the way that it kind of howls and buckles and continues to kind of droning. It's that drowning motorbike sound, the typical chopping. And it picks up and moves down depending on just how much pressure you're giving it. But, they are very, very dwarven machines. They're very kind of gruff but efficient. So you continue going down the cavern, and this lasts for a good 30 minutes of you just trekking through cavern hallways using the large headlight on the front of this creation to illuminate the path that you're going, and you continue to follow the caravan. Something that is concerning is the fact that Grobril has like a stash of explosives tied to the back of his bike, along with a single dwarf. And the way that he has secured these things, grenades kind of peek out of their containers. And the dwarf on the back has to occasionally panic, like try to hold it all together. Like he's on the back of this just trying to hold the whole contraption from spilling out. That being said, you all continue to drive.
Yes.
30 minutes pass, about 45, and you continue going through in this pretty usual pace. You start heading downwards in the caverns, noticing that the incline is driving you deeper and deeper into the planets. I would say that you go from this kind of sparse vegetative area to more of like I would almost call it like a fungal forest. The bioluminescence here is starting to grow, and you're passing by increasingly bigger and bigger mushrooms. You start to notice, as you are driving by, a scattering wildlife, what looks like bucks that almost have a stony visage to them. Their coat is a sheer, not shining gray, and their eyes are kind of like these almost glowing blue lights as they pick up their heads and scatter off into the nearby brush.
Are those the stone bulls you were talking about?
If you're yelling this, then I imagine...
I was doing it through comms.
Yeah, if you're doing it through comms, then Brock would respond to you in kind of like a humorous tone. No, you'll notice the boulder bulls when you see them.
Good.
So you continue
Tom.
to pass through.
Tim Tom is like a fucking dog. Head above fucking 447. Mouth agape. Tongue.
You're pretty large, so some of the fins of these mushrooms are just about head height for you.
Tim Tom occasionally just ducks his head down.
So.
Wait, can I
continuing-
do a real quick check to see if any of these mushrooms are edible?
I would
Life
say,
science.
yeah, it'd be life science.
Life science?
Yep.
I have a really high life sign. I could have rolled better on the dice, but I have a 13 for life sign.
18. So, what you kind of get out of it is that a majority of these mushrooms are inedible. You do find clusters because there are different populations. They aren't all just the same. They have different colors, different lights that kind of flash down here. Some of the mushrooms that kind of grow underneath the larger ones, those are edible. But the larger ones, they're less edible and more fibrous. It'd be like trying to eat tree bark. Some people do it, and those people are crazy.
Okay.
So, you continue driving until eventually you reach what almost seems to be a base of a pass. Like there is a steep and stern drop where the rocks just kind of crest over, and Brock stops his cycle as runner and just kind of waits for the rest of you to catch up towards this crest.
Yeah.
So,
Yarge parks the thing and it's actually having a bunch of fun riding something that he can actually be driving something he can actually.
And his feet reach the gas pedal.
That's what I was
Yes.
about to ask. 'Cause-
Yeah.
Dwarven
Oh.
made.
Right. Right, you're vaguely dwarf-sized.
So,
Yeah.
as you all reach this crest and see, it was kind of building up the vegetation. But now that you've reached this pass, you see that there is this cavern that just goes on and on and on. And along the floor is just a forest of fungal growth. It is glowing and it's almost kind of breathtaking in its view as you just kind of reach into the boundary of what is very clearly a wild environment. He points off way into the distance. You can't see it, but over there's a cavern entrance. Now, that entrance leads into a more secluded place. The ruins that we're trying to get to are just beyond that veil. Now that being said, it was a nice drive up here. How about we have some fun?
Yarge
Right.
perks up.
Let's put these things to the test.
So he kind of smirks and looks around towards his three dwarven compatriots. At this point, Lorik, who's got this deep grin on his face, just goes, 10 crits to the winner, and immediately revs his bike.
All right.
Sure. I'm gonna participate in this. I need money.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, so
See ya, suckers, and immediately he ducks right off of the cliff edge. He straight up drives off.
Yarge does the same thing as they know this train.
oh god.
So, seeing that happen, I'm gonna need everybody to give me initiative checks.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
initiative.
Oh yeah.
Drivers or everyone?
Everyone, the drivers more specifically.
In,
So we got Ankos, we got Yarreach, and we got 447.
Okay.
Let's see here.
We'll say that the passengers get to act on their drivers' turns.
I guess we just roll dexterity.
Oh, forgive me. I will go ahead and open this up, and I will allow you to reroll your initiatives because I forgot about this. Here you go. Go into the combat tracker.
Ah, good.
Hey, I got same roll.
Forget that that's here sometimes.
combat tracker. There we go.
And I do not have these things, so you'll have to forgive me for not being prepared for this. I did wake up at like 1:50. Let me go ahead and make some temporary things. So, Lorik, non-playable character. He should have a initiative score of 2. Let's go. Grobil Burial Built. The living beard.
The living beard.
He has an initiative score of -1. Alright. And then we have Rear Fast Magmane. Rear Falsey Magmane, who has a initiative score of +4. And then finally, we would have... Let me go ahead and pull up my phone for the name. Brock Madman. Who has an initiative score of +3. Let me go ahead and add these guys in. That way I can have a sense of tracking.
Oh.
And let's roll all of them. Alright, so Lorik takes off just right off the cliff's edge, and immediately just kind of, as that happens, Brock laughs and just goes, "That's a spirit," and immediately revs his bike and flies off of the edge too. Yarich, it's your go.
I do the same.
Yeah,
No,
you don't want to be outdone, so I imagine as soon as he goes off, there's some kind of like caffeine shittering from you as you fly off the edge. So, as you just fly, like you rocket off of the edge, you realize this is much steeper than you thought it was. And immediately, your passenger, Vaku, you feel your stomach lurch, as well as Yarich, as this thing rotates almost a damn near 90 degrees and is now traveling down the side of a cliff's edge, which you see sharp rocks passing by you, just whipping by your face. In the lead is Lorik, just behind him is Brock, and Yarich, you're just kind of giving this thing as much as you can as you're all building up speed, wind whipping in your face. Vaku, you're not having fun. It goes to Angos.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and ramp off the edge, but right as I'm about to go off the edge, I'm going to do a hard brake and a nose down, and I'm going to, like, basically turn the hover bike to run down the side.
Yeah, give me a piloting check.
All right.
Please.
Please.
He's gonna hold on for his life.
25.
Damn! So immediately, as this happens, 3 of them just burst off the cliff, and Angos just hits over the edge, and you just give this thing a strong lurch, and immediately, there's no jumping off, there's no falling. It just whips down into that 90-degree curve with with Carthen in tow, just kind of holding onto his hair that is now whipping around. You immediately catch up to Yarich and immediately pass him, just kind of running right past, already at full speed, maybe even a little bit faster than Yarich's bike, catching up to Brock. So it goes to Grovril, who just simply drives off the edge.
Oh.
Lorik, immediately, seeing as how he's still in the lead, just starts gunning it as fast as he can, keeping his bike running faster and faster down the cliff's edge, and you see that the ground is fast approaching. It is now 447's turn.
So we're racing straight down this chasm?
Yes.
Everyone but you so far.
Into a fungal forest.
Okay.
Ooh.
What?
No, I just have an idea for how I'm going to handle my stuff.
Oh man, I can't fucking wait.
Okay. Shit. I guess, fuck, I don't have any really fun, fancy ideas for this. I don't want to just copy what fucking, Ankos did. I'll just go straight down the fucking side of the cliff, I guess, and fucking full throttle.
And Tom is going to make himself as small as possible in order to make the aerodynamics better.
Nope.
And he's going to kind of get center mass, and essentially the idea is use Tim Tom's massive mass to accelerate us faster down while he's like trying to reduce his aerodynamic drag.
Goodness, so you try to suck in your gut. What kind of check is that?
No.
I am going to say...
I would say dexterity.
Yeah, give me a dexterity check. So a 7, you try just like suck in everything, just kind of hold your arms in, curl your head in, and you are still a massive bear holding off of like the back of this bike.
You're making a lot of drag, you know that?
So,
So 447, you're just gonna drive off the edge, right?
Yeah, fuck it.
You follow, and immediately, I'd say that You immediately pass by Grobrill.
Cool.
Because Grobrill is not going fast at all. He just kind of like gently lurches
Nope,
off of
I'm
the
not
side.
being
and
gentle
continues
about
to
this at
follow.
all. I'm sending it
No.
straight down, full speed.
Grobrill is.
Yeah.
So you immediately pass by him, catching up to, I would say, Yarich, who also simply drove off. So you're about neck and neck with Yarich.
I am screaming bloody murder for my fucking life
Yeah, Tim Tom,
in sheer terror.
are you afraid of heights?
I would imagine so, yes.
You see the fast approaching sharp stones at the bottom of this crevice.
Pull up, 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 pull up,
Shut up. Shut
It
up.
goes to Rear Falsey, who goes ahead and, messing around with her equipment, is going to go ahead and tap into her runner. And all of you see from the back edge, this thing drives off and you see flames shooting out of the back as it is now flying through the air,
Oh.
not following the path that you all are going. I'm going to make an engineering check. 23. This thing just... It is now basically falling, not even riding along the edge. Bucker, are you driving?
No,
I'm the passenger.
Okay,
With-
then
with
their
Yarich.
passengers act on their driver's turns. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
So what did you want to do on Yarich's turn?
What range does my whip have?
No.
Oh,
I'm going to look back to you and say, get your rings ready. I have an idea.
Oh, okay.
Get your
Alright.
what ready?
Wings.
Oh.
Wings? I don't.
Oh.
He doesn't have wings.
What wings do I have?
The wing team.
Gary just going to
Shut up.
hold his head down.
So
Then
His
just
head
hold
down
on.
doesn't look where he's driving.
No,
Drives into a fucking
hold his
spike.
head down, not look down.
as
Like he's gonna scrunch.
as it
Yes.
goes to Brock's turn, you see that he's just kind of laughing along with the rest of the crew, and his general demeanor is like, "Oh, Lorik, you young bastard! I'll show you like who's really the boss here."
We're just like racing around. I don't know what the fuck to do. Maybe like hit one of their bikes to like slow
Let's
down a
not
little
play
bit.
unfair.
So yeah,
I don't
he
know
goes
what
ahead
to
and tries to
do.
pull a sharp maneuver against the good old fucking Lorik, but as they are clashing just kind of like in the front, both of them are laughing to each other, but you get a sense that Lorik is trying to prove himself as he pulls forward just out of Brock's reach. It goes to Yarich's turn. You see the two dwarves basically battling it out for space in front of you, whilst
So
to your
what
side...
I'm going to do
Whilst
is
to your side, 447 is basically
Yes,
catching
I'm
up real
keeping neck
fast.
and neck with you right now.
With a
I'm going-
screaming Tim Tom who is grabbing a hold of 447 a little too tight for comfort.
what I'm going to do. I'm going to use
You
one
know
of
there's
the.
a whole roll cage you can hold on to, right?
I'm going to use one of the jagged edges to ramp me off onto top of the mushrooms.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Give me a piloting check. 23. So you go ahead and curl this thing up onto one of the jagged edges, and Vaku, you start to see a sharp clip face, way faster than the one at the ground that was like threatened to basically throw the bike onto its side and maybe even roll. As Yarich pulls this thing up, and because it's hovering, it actually has some maneuver room. So it basically just kind of prepares itself for a smash landing onto this spike, and this thing
Can I make an
revs as-
acrobatics check
For what?
to like hold on? I guess.
Yeah, sure.
No one's
Sure,
forcing
it's
you to
harder.
risk yourself like that.
An 18. As this thing descends and kind of pulls back, the entire thing like rotated at a 45-degree angle to brace itself. It hits the rough edge, and immediately all of that momentum is directed horizontally instead of vertically as Yarich goes flying off into the distance. You see his bike catching air as the hov treads are attempting to catch ground in what is very clearly not the environment that they were designed for. The mushrooms are racing towards your cruiser. Ankos, it's your turn. You have
Okay.
passed by Yarich. Whenever you see him take a sharp turn, hit a cliff edge, and go flying away.
Okay. In that case, I'd like to use my perception to try and see if I can find a faster route through or a duck away through obstacles.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Yeah.
17. You kind of spot, but for now you're just kind of keeping up with the general tempo of things. You
Oh.
are behind Brock and Lorik, and right now 447 is like speeding up from behind you.
Levi.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
How much resolve would you like for me to spend to fully graviton attune
Oh, Lord.
so that I can use gravity grappler to yank us further ahead?
Shit, how does Gravity Grappler work again?
So it functions as exactly like a standard grappler with titanium alloy cable. 30 feet multiplied by my charisma modifier. So
Your Charisma modifier is a +3.
yeah, so I have 90 feet of line to use as a grappler.
I will say that in this instance, if you timed it well enough, you could try to pull yourself further ahead. You could also attempt to pull bikes towards you.
Oh,
Or try to pull them back.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
to fully graviton attune, since this is a non-combat environment, I'll allow you to dump 1 point of resolve.
I will happily dump a point of resolve
You all
and
watch,
graviton attune.
you all watch Carthen on the back of this bike as electricity starts to ripple up, and his skin starts to darken just a little bit. This almost fabric lining of shadows and gravity begins to kind of curl around his form as you feel this almost descending presence like a crown over your mind. Yes. So basically seeing wisps and trails of scarves and shit of pure gravitational shadow kind of following in your wake. What do you want to do?
I throw our line out in front of us and use my strength to yank as hard as I can to boost us.
Oh, you want to throw it in front of you?
Yes.
Go ahead and make a dexterity. Do you have any ranged weapons on you?
I have the graviton pistol.
Make a pistol attack, just so that we can get an attack roll. Okay, a 12. You try to throw out your first gravity grapple, kind of reaching out one of your hands with your Kanobo and the other, which is now fully encapsulated in darkness. The line wrenches out and impacts the ground right in front of you, and then immediately whips back, and you panic for a second because, like, you weren't fully adjusted to the speed at which you were going, that you had already passed by the line. So you wrench it back just before you manage to slow down your vehicle just a little bit. Alright. So, Enkos, what do you want to do? You were looking around.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could find a faster way through, an entryway, a way around some obstacles that would cut through some of the opposition.
I would say that the maelstrom of like wind and dirt and dust and rocks kind of kicking up and impacting your face, and 18 is not enough to really impact the race. You're still keeping pace, definitely. Still in front of 447. It goes to Grobril, who is still like slowly maneuvering in the back. It is Lorik's turn, who is just trying to fight with Brock just to keep some semblance of space, and this dude, he is not budging. Oop, shit, okay. Let me reroll that, because I'm stupid. You start to see, as they're fighting, Lorik's kind of giving that, like, no, 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 as Brock is pulling in front. And they are both almost, like, touching with their vehicles, almost fighting, but Brock is just starting to pull ahead. You all are reaching the bottom of the cliff face at this point. 447, it is your turn.
Okay, so we're still racing down the cliff face?
Yes.
Alright. Because I was thinking we might have actually gotten to the bottom of this chasm or whatever by now.
You're
But...
just about.
Okay. So, the bottom of this chasm, is this chasm a straight line ahead, or is it like bending and twisting, or what?
So it's got bends and twists. There also seems to be a general, like, you are floating above the chaos of it all. So if you wanted to go into the nooks and crannies and shit, you could. But if you wanted to just kind of race down the side of the cliff, that's possible as well.
See, what I'm kind of thinking is maybe I can jerk up really hard on the controls to like divorce my vehicle from the cavern wall and reorient it so that it lands treads down into the chasm.
Go ahead and give me a piloting check.
And while I'm doing this, I want to attempt to take a turn and go with the curvature of the chasm so I don't lose any speed when I hit the bottom.
25. You basically pull this thing up, and as opposed to a Yarich's forceful separation because, you know, he hit a cliff and just went flying away, you basically forcefully part this thing from the side of the wall, just kind of pulling up as the engine just keeps getting louder and louder. You are now pulling up off of the cliff's edge, and you get a sense that your vehicle is, like, detached from the ground and is now just falling.
Yes, at this point, my vehicle is straight up free falling. I'm intentionally doing this and attempting to control the landing so I get to the bottom of the chasm faster. Like, I'm letting gravity assist me.
As this is happening, I imagine Ankos. You see 447 and a screaming bear. Now keep in mind, you guys are basically racing vertically. 447 has pulled him up almost back to a horizontal angle.
Yes, yes. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
You see the grav discs kind of enter your vision as there is a vehicle. What is it? Parallel? Or is it...
It'd be perpendicular.
It'd be perpendicular to your falling alongside you, and I imagine 447's giving you a look.
Yes, while my vehicle's perpendicular to yours, just falling down instead of going alongside you, you see my head slowly rotate towards you like something out of a L'Oreal commercial before the fucking vehicle just falls out of your line of view.
I'm just gonna start laughing maniacally before I fucking kick it into the next gear and pull on the throttle as hard as I can.
Oh god.
I imagine like one hand at this point, like one hand is around fucking like 447. The other hand is grabbing a hold of anything he can. He's screaming like, "Kill us all, you crazy fucking bastard!"
You all do not know where Rear Falsey is. It's Brock's turn. So continuing to fight with this younger individual, you've reached the bottom of the cliff, and immediately the sense of gravity just kind of overtakes him and the fucking Lorik as well. So as they hit the ground, all of the blood rushes from their head to their feet, and they just start like becoming woozy. So I am going to go ahead and have our good old friend Brock make a fortitude save. He rolls a 17 and just kind of barely fighting with it, just grits his teeth as he's still... The chopper continues to obey his commands, and he is not temporarily passed out. He's still in the lead. It goes to Yarich's turn.
I'm going to
Yarich,
use the
you are
top of
flying
the
through the
mushrooms
air.
to slowly guide me down further.
Okay. So I will say, if you are going for the mushrooms because you want to ride along the top of the mushroom forest, give me a piloting check. Because you haven't actually hit the ground yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to just guide myself down a lot more gently and try to get to the end point faster.
A 15. You kind of make a rough landing, like a... The whole craft rumbles and kind of shudders along with Vaku on the back, and you hit the top of the mushroom, which immediately bends because of the force of the grav discs that are kind of forcing their will upon the stalks. However, you make a landing, and you are now driving alongside the top of the mushroom forest. You don't know where you are in position with the others, but you are going very fast. Ankos, you are hurtling towards the ground floor.
All right, so is it?
Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Now, I was gonna say, is it safe to assume this has some type of rear booster to propel it along these tracks, or is it just the bottom grav discs?
These vehicles do not have like a turbo of any sort.
I mean, so it doesn't have like an engine on the back that's kind of like propelling it forward. It's just all
Yeah,
on the
it
grab
does.
disc. Okay, so
There is kind of like this general movement. You get a sense that these things can kind of do what the Ghost does from Halo, where they have like that directional
Yeah.
movement. And then
All
they
right.
also have the forward thrust that the Ghost has.
All right. So, question again, because this could be very dangerous. Resolve allow. Can I use 1 point of resolve to try to re-roll or get a better roll on something?
Resolve are not hero points.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna do this and hope it works out well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to blast towards the bottom of the chasm, and as I reach the bottom, I'm gonna pull the bike up at a 45-degree angle, using the booster and the grab discs to try to slow my fall. And as the bike will like start to drift one way or another because of the grab
So-
disc, I'm gonna pull it around in a circle. And then
You're
ramp
essentially
out
trying
and
to
going-
cut your journey into a 45-degree angle, like separating from the wall and just trying to get some horizontal momentum before you hit the bottom.
Yeah, kind of like what I'm
Basically.
doing.
Yeah,
That's what
I-
Yari already did, and it's going.
Yeah, but you were aiming for the mushroom.
Except
so
what I'm
good.
trying to do is I'm also trying to maintain some forward momentum as I fall at this like at this angle. I am spinning the bike around in the circle to not slam my back into the wall, and when I reach the bottom, I am going to toilet bowl around and then shoot down the hallway.
Yeah, this beast kind of responds to your motions with a sluggish growl. Go ahead and make a piloting check.
Here's the natural one.
A 16, you pull up and just kind of separating off from the ground. You start to hit the curvature, but you're just not catching enough gravity waves or however the fuck this bike works for it to actually separate. That being said, though, as you hit the curvature and start to feel your blood leaving your brain, give me a fortitude save.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear, my worst save.
Uh-oh.
Ah.
5. You start to kind of just lurch out of reality. You feel darkness taking you. And the rest of you watch as Ankos's bike, still going full speed, is now curving, turning somewhere.
Can Carthen like
Can I
grab the
do something about
controls?
this?
So you want to lean over and take over for Ankos?
Yes,
Go ahead and make a fortitude save for me.
I will happily make a fortitude save for you.
Yeah, thank you, Christ.
3. I imagine as you look down, you're like, man, that was kind of a rough landing. You look down and see Ankos
He
pass.
goes as passed out. I just pull the I pull the
Deus
old
Ex
switch-
guy is just slumped over in the chair with his sunglasses on.
I have to pull the old switcheroo while we're traveling at full speed.
I imagine that
He never asked for this.
because the controls are a little bit out of your reach, you use your grappler and like attach to the actual the bars and pull it in a direction
Oh.
that makes the vehicle right itself.
I
Oh
use my
god, I'm like a
grappling hook.
chariot. I'm using my gravity grapple as a charioteer. Okay.
So this thing kind of lurches back into its space and continues going. By the way, it's not slowed down at all. It's just that Ankos has passed out.
Thank
is
God
fine.
hotkey blackouts do not last long.
I have access to the controls. I will keep us moving.
It goes to Grovril, who has disappeared.
Hmm?
It is now Lorik's turn. Seeing that Barak has pulled in front, and you get a sense that these are both like very experienced front runners. You see him fighting against the currents, trying to stay conscious, just trying not to pass out. 25. Dude rolled a 19. He holds and grits his teeth and is like, "Not yet, Brock, you bastard!" And he's gonna continue riding onto the edge. He pulls right back up to Brock's side, and you both see that they are very clearly just kind of like fighting it out. Like this is kind of now a man versus man kind of fight. The dwarves on the back are all cheering, by the way.
Of course.
It is now 447's turn. You see the ground fast approaching you. Make a piloting check.
Yes! I'll do it. Let me open up the chat so I can see what it's going to be when I press roll. Not the greatest, but
16.
okay.
Immediately just kind of you feel the discs humming up because they sense basically an approaching ground surface, and as they fight to try and not to smash into the side of the ground, you hit it and immediately make a fortitude save.
Sounds good.
Timothy, you too.
One. Okay.
Oh my god. Great bonus. Real low roll.
I imagine as you hit the ground and feel your life leaving you, Timothy, you look up from your screaming and see that 447 has passed out.
Ah, great.
Oh god.
Well, I guess I'm in the same camp
And
as
Tom
fuck.
immediately starts shaking him. Wake up!
So-
Wake up! Fuck!
Let me put it this way. You just violently hit the ground in a front runner, and now this thing suffering that impact is now... Boom, it like hits a weird angle, and is now steering and veering off into a different direction.
Well, I guess I'm now in the same camp as Ankos, where I'm glad that fucking chi blackouts don't last very long.
So
Freaking out, Tim Tom's gonna reach over, grab the handles, and I guess not know how to fucking operate this
Great.
piece of machinery, thinking he's hitting the brakes, but actually hits the accelerator.
oh
Yeah,
yes.
No, I imagine that you were totally freaking out and having no idea what you're doing. Still going in a weird
Fortitude
direction.
is my best save, and I just
You
rolled
want me
a
to
2.
make a piloting check?
It's not the end of the world, Brian. We're faulty. So, Tyler, Yarich,
I'm
you
gonna
were
need some
driving
water.
along the mushroom forest's lining, the treetop, you would say.
So
You think
I'm
that
going.
you're going very fast. You don't know what position you're in, but you get a sense that you're kind of one of those that's in the lead.
So
As
what I'm
soon
going.
as you're thinking to that, you hear grav discs whirring above you, and you see rear falsy descending from above, flames still trailing the vehicle, hits the mushroom tops, and she kind of looks back and gives you that like na 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 kind of thing, and continues going alongside you.
Honestly, I'm impressed I'm able to keep this well up with people who are veteran drivers of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this. I'm going to look for one of the stems of the mushrooms that's even taller than most of the other mushrooms and try to take the stem down to the proper ground. And
Oh,
hopefully,
you're gonna try and ride down to join with the rest of the riders.
yeah, to
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll come to that whenever it becomes your turn. Brock and Lorik still fighting at the lead. They've gotten to the point where they seem to be facing kind of like a twofold path. Like there's kind of like a split in the trees where there are two lanes that you all can kind of funnel into. And it seems like they're fighting like real hard for the space until eventually they get to that division and the two separate from each other. There are now two paths to follow. Brock has gone into the left, Lorik has gone into the right. Yarich, it's your turn.
So, how close are we? First off, how close are we to our end goal?
You get a sense that you're maybe about like a third of the way there.
Okay, with that in mind, I'm going to continue hopping from mushroom to mushroom until we're getting closer. Keeping an eye out for... Actually, I'm going to look back at Sam. Keep an eye out for mushrooms that we can take to lower pass. Alert me of any.
All right, I'll keep watch.
Go make a perception check.
All right. I haven't really been doing much during this race because I'm like, I don't know.
You can be my eyes for stuff. like that.
19.
19. You see further up into like the larger forest, kind of like the mushroom stems continue to grow, and it looks like there is a sheer drop down where mushrooms do not cover your angle because they're just getting too tall.
Alright.
There's some mushrooms up there.
Probably take those down.
Yes.
So, Yarich, you were racing alongside Rear Falsey as the both of you were kind of like probably jeering each other. Ankos.
I'm going to buzz my wings out.
Do
trying to
Do I wake up?
glow.
You pull back from the darkness and see mushroom stems along either side of your sphere of vision, and realize that you are going very, very fast in the middle of a forest.
So I'm going to immediately drop down 2 gears to engine brake, pull up, and then fucking pull the engine as hard, or open the accelerator as hard as I fucking can.
Alright, so as you basically regain control of this thing and it begins to kick back up and return back to full speed, you see...
The engine's gonna be fucking screaming when I do this.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
back
it's
in once.
chopping in full. You see that further ahead, Brock and Lorik have had to separate in kind of like a two-way tunnel. Brock went to the left, Lorik went to the right. Which way are you taking?
Can I make a perception to try and determine which of the... never mind. I'm gonna go with my fucking gut. I'm gonna go right.
So you immediately steer this thing and immediately go and follow Lorik as the two separate. You'll have no idea where Groberl is. It is now Lorik's turn as he continues to steer and make his way, just kind of taking pretty large, what's the word, banks whenever you're not quite taking a turn, but you're forced to kind of like turn in direction with the road. That being said, these bikes are still screaming, going as fast as they can. 447.
Am I awake?
You come back up to consciousness and realize that you are not on the road that you thought you should be.
I am going to suddenly grab the controls, which I assume Tim Tom is still holding, and I'm going to drift us back the other way around while trying to maintain top speed.
So, you lost a little bit of difference because the bike was going, or distance because the bike was going in the wrong direction. However, you do see Ankos dive into the right side tunnel. You didn't really see what was going on, but you do see that there are two tunnels, one to the left, one to the right, and they're all kind of made of the forest, the fungus. They're like natural grown forest tunnels, you know, like tree canopies and shit.
Alright, Doctor. Let's take the path less traveled. And I'm going to head into the left tunnel.
So you follow after Brock. So following along these...
crazy!
Rear Falsey is fighting with you, Reach, to just kind of like keep some semblance of distance as she is laughing. Going to continue riding along the mushroom edge and just try to get some more space between you and her. The 2DD20. Sure, whatever. 23 starts steadily pulling ahead, just kind of keeping the already succeeding victory conditions still technically in front, just kind of pulling ahead even more so. Brock, who is steering through these tunnels and trying to keep in line with the natural path. Brian, you witnessed something weird.
Oh, what's
you
that?
see Brock further up in the tunnel. Something flies off of his bike.
Upon seeing that?
You see what almost looks like food. Just kind of one of the containers on the side of the vehicle go flying off and veering off and hit the road and just kind of scatter out.
Upon seeing that, do these things have headlights?
Yes, they have headlights.
I'm gonna flash my headlights at him repeatedly.
So you flicker it on, make a perception check.
Okay. Oh,
Natural
nice.
20. As soon as you flick the lights on, you catch the silvery threads in the air.
Oh, shit.
There are spider lines just kind of crisscrossing this tunnel. One of them caught a container of food and just kind of whipped it off.
I'm gonna click on my comm unit. Brock, do you read?
Aye.
Container of food just fell off the back of your front runner.
Aye, no matter, we bought plenty.
Okay, but caught in a spider web.
Spiderweb.
You're not alone in this tunnel. And by the way that thing was vibrating, I get the sense we're going to have company very soon.
It is Yarich's turn.
Yarich is going to look over his machine and see if he can rev the engine like his opponent is.
Make an engineering check. 30. You lean down towards this thing and realize that there are several things that you could do to improve this thing's efficiency while sacrificing its ability to turn. So you basically cut out the power that's being directed towards the side directional grav discs. Well, rather the sides of them, and start directing that energy in full towards the ion thruster in the back of the craft, which immediately sparks to further flame. You pull right up alongside Rear Falsey, who seems impressed that you also understand the mechanics of these vehicles. It goes to Ankos. You are driving on the right side. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Alright, too easy.
You
God
see,
damn it.
You see Lorik off in the distance. Make a sudden turn.
All right, I am going to copy
You
his
are
sudden turns.
Fast approaching. The reason that he made a sharp turn, as soon as you get to the spot that about he was, you see what looks like a moving boulder, large armor plating, and jutting horns sticking up from the brush with two big yellow eyes.
Hard turn! Hard turn! Hard turn!
As you
Rock bolt.
move aside and continue ducking alongside into the fungal forests.
Boulder balls.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck was that?
I don't know, but I'm not trying to be breakfast.
You have no idea where Groveril is.
That's not a good sign.
If we get to the end of this and Grobril is in the front, I'm gonna cry.
Who's Jesus Christ?
I didn't say that in character.
Oh.
So, Lorik dives further into the forest, not to be seen. It is now 447's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna look up the Tim Tom. I need you to get out whatever you have for a weapon and be ready. Enough showboating, you're about to have trouble. I'm going to just keep moving speed so we can hope. I'm gonna just keep driving as fast as I can, so hopefully we stay ahead of these spiders. But, I'm gonna try to also at the same time be as cautious as I can while moving at full speed, knowing that this cave is no longer, a solo ride.
Give me the piloting check to avoid the strands.
Okay.
I have the urge to blast Drift Fonk through fucking Flip Yap while we do this.
I like the soundtrack we're playing now for this.
I imagine as you are writing, you're doing very well for yourself. You only managed to catch one thread like Brock was. Just near the end, one of them that you don't see whips and almost just barely avoids hitting Timothy on the side of the face.
I draw in breath sharply through my teeth.
But you do
And Tom is
see,
crying at this point.
you do see a separate mirror that was just kind of attached to the side of this vehicle. Honestly, looked like it was just put on there at someone's whim, like it was put on with duct tape. Just come
Objects
flying
in
off.
mirror are closer than they appear. T-Rex coming in to bite.
So, as you continue to drive, you do get a sense, you start hearing things in the distance, like little screams, little chitters.
Keep it together,
I take it
Doctor. We're
everyone
gonna need
hears that.
firepower soon.
It goes to Rear Falsey's turn, as you two are neck and neck alongside the top of this forest. Go ahead and... Actually, I'll say that Rear Falsey is going to make a perception check. A 10. Keeps driving. Goes to Brock, who also disappears into the forest. Yarich, make a perception check.
Okay. Baku, make a perception check. Okay, where's my perception? There is. I have a +0, but I'm gonna roll it anyways. Just about what I expected.
I imagine, as you both are writing, it's just kind of like this. You haven't been acquainted with any of the wildlife because you've been riding along the mushroom tops. What you don't understand are the mega spiders roosting in the caverns of like the mushroom's disc. Feel the vibrations and start to emerge, like crawling up along the lips. And the first indicator that you get of something wrong is one of the spiders pokes its horned head up and immediately goes, "Whoosh!" And immediately the front runner just decapitates it. Just a rumbles and hits this thing as all of a sudden you are knocked a very violent to the side.
Alright. As that happens, can I make an engineering check to re-engage my side thrusters to gain control?
Yeah, you'd have to sacrifice a little bit of speed, but you'd get full control back. 21. Immediately, you just kind of like disengage the gears and regain control of this thing as it's whipping around violently. You push it back in the direction that you want it to go. You see Rear Falsey, just lucky enough to have not hit a mega spider, continues rolling. But you do get a sense that she looks over and sees what has happened to you, and also sees the blood covering the front of the front runner. Well, it's not blood, it's more ichor.
Splatter kill.
Insect fluid.
Green goo.
Ankos, it's your turn.
Oh boy, fucking hell.
Apparently, like,
Well,
insect blood actually like cares around their waist. They breathe through their pores and
I'm torn between
But they can still
hey, we
scream
should stop the
sometimes.
race because it's very dangerous in here and we should die too. Fuck it, I'm already invested, and you know what? Let's go with the latter here. So after we go ahead and blast her, or after we avoid this fucking
Avoid?
yeah, the fucking thing that was in the tunnel.
Speaking of that thing that was in the midst of the forest tunnel, and I'm saying tunnel very broadly, it's not a tunnel as much as it is a cluster of mushrooms that has like divisions and paths that probably formed because they're split in the rock face itself. You're just kind of following these paths. Tunnel is a bit of a misleading word. They're like forest tunnels. But that creature that you turn to avoid hasn't just disappeared.
Oh.
As soon
Elaborate.
as you buzzed past it, the grav dust kind of stirring up the gravel and the ground and the rocks.
Oh, no,
Into its face. And immediately the thing goes immediately starts running up in this galloping stride behind your front runner.
So Levi, is this thing gaining on us?
Yeah, no, it's getting closer.
I'm going to scream back to Carthen, discourage him however you can, and I'm going to pull a fucking piloting check to get the fuck away.
Yeah, so...
Actually, wait, no, I don't want to pull a piloting check, I want to pull a perception check to find an optimized path to the forest. Can I?
Yeah.
Alright, let's go.
Yep, and as...
27, we'll get back to that. Carthen.
As he does that, Carthen is going to pull out his graviton pistol, flip it to the setting where it pushes objects, and he's going to prepare and wait until it's right on them before he fires to hopefully open up a gap between them.
Well, I will say, graviton pistol, 60-foot range. If you're just wanting to get into an effective range, this thing is following about like 50 feet behind you.
No, I want to both open up the gap and boost us with it.
Oh god. Okay.
So I'm holding my shot.
All right. So this thing is getting closer and getting closer. Angos, you're looking through twists and turns in the trees.
Yeah, I'm trying to find gaps in fucking levels that allow me to go into as straight a line as possible while making myself go through choke points that this thing is gonna not squeeze through.
Yeah. Finally, you see what appears to be an opening in the forest gap and immediately turn over towards this. This thing's getting closer. 40, 30, 20, and keep in mind, it's the size of an elephant and is in mid-gallop, just kind of like... It's about 10 feet. Until eventually it crosses into almost the 5-foot gap, and you see the twin stonal horns of this thing rushing up to the back of your vehicle.
Yep, now's the time.
Make an attack roll.
Oh no.
10. You shoot, and a bump causes your attack to hit the stem behind the mushroom, as this thing just kind of like lets out a growl and leans down its horns and lifts up the back of the front runner, trying to at least.
Okay. Can I whip my Kanabo out and just smash it across the side of the face?
I will say, whilst you guys are fighting it, yeah, you try to attack with your pistol, but quickly realize that it's not gonna work. I'll let you guys get like an exchange of blows, Kanobo versus Horn.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
If I could turn around and shoot this thing, I would.
Just keep us rolling. Oh,
nice.
Oh, yes!
It also gets to make an attack in turn. 26. And
That
roll
does
a 10.
pass.
So, you smash this thing, just kind of like seeing that this isn't going to work. You strain against your harness and pull out the Graviton Kanobo, and just its horn curves up and sticks up just underneath the front runners, in between the grav discs, and just starts shearing with its horns. I'm going to make it roll its damage, and then we'll figure out what your crit does.
Okay, that sounds good.
So these front runners do have an innate hardness that reduces this damage to 17 points. However, as it hits up in between, you hear the sounds of shearing metal and grinding, twisting gears as the front runner bucks and violently responds to the damage that it's taken. And it's just about that time that you see this thing gouging its front horn just kind of into the surface level. Rather, it has two large front horns, and it's hooked one of them into the bottom. You bring your Kanobo down, and there's just kind of this moment where time stops. Go ahead and roll damage.
Absolutely. Let's see here. And this is a critical.
21 points of damage. You bring this thing down, and it hits the top of its head right in between the horns.
Oh.
And whatever further damage that it would have suffered to the front runner to just cease. Its head slams into the dirt and begins skidding backwards, just kind of raising massive clouds of dust and dirt up in its wake. With that single strike, you not only bludgeon this thing in the face, you erase it from the race entirely. Like, it's definitely still alive. You dealt it a bloody blow, but, like, it's not going to be able to keep up with you anymore. You basically just smashed its head into the earth.
It's been discouraged.
And it's just about that time that you hear the sputtering, the kicking of the engine, which is definitely damaged now, but you continue going out of the exit, out of the forest, and hit the ground with the grav discs. You notice one of them just kind of like spits out just a little bit, and you almost catch some of the rubble, but it continues going strong as it can. You are now on the final edge. You are outside of the forest, and you are rushing towards what would be the cavern entrance that Brock was talking about.
Okay, do we see anybody, like, in front of us?
What you do immediately notice is that you see on the mushroom edges behind you, there are two individuals fighting with their front runners, Yarich and Rear Falsey, who are just about to run off of the forest itself and maybe even catch up to you guys. And then to the side, you see Brock and Lorik emerge much slower than they went in. It looks like they must have caught something that slowed the both of them down. Not sure what was up with that. That being said, you are one of the contenders for, like, the lead, but your bike's damaged. You don't know what happened to Groveril. It's Lorik's turn, who is fighting desperately with Brock, just to kind of maybe get it in his head that maybe Lorik should take the lead every now and then. Uh, 20 plus. So a 20 from Lorik keeps him in pace with Brock, and they just continue to fight and fight and fight. 447. You are winding through the forest, just trying to get a sense, avoiding those strings. Whenever you see little horned heads jut up, stone-like mantles looking over towards you, and then their mandibles screech out, these mega spiders just kind of poking their heads out from the caverns.
Tom inflexibly shoots, instinctually just shoots at one.
I would say that since it's just a simple one, give me an attack roll, we won't even bother with damage.
Nice.
Natural one. You shoot and almost lurch this vehicle into the cavern side.
Shit!
447 has to reflexively pull away, but the further and further you get in, you realize that the space that Brock had taken a turn into leads directly into a nest. You see in the distance, in this cluster, this area that is free of mushrooms, there is a almost funnel of webs and silk that kind of build up, and resting directly in the center of this place, previously immobile, but all of the ruckus of bikes racing past it, it raises its head. A queen of mega spiders just kind of looks up, and all 6 of the eyes, sharp and slitted, stare down at the front runner.
Drive.
Is there a way around the nest?
It definitely looks like there are ways to drive through here, yes. Give me a piloting check.
Alright. Okay. Hell yeah,
So
that's
it's
not bad.
26. You drive and kind of duck and twist and avoid just this semblance, this almost a wave in front of you as the bike curves underneath. Hell, you get to this spot where you think that you're not going to make it and kick out the grav discs for a few seconds just to buy this thing just enough space to slide underneath the funnel and continue driving. The Mega Spider Queen screaming in the background as you slip away out of the den and continue driving, kicking back on the grav plates just before you about hit the ground of this cavern. You keep driving, keep going, more heads are poking up. What do you want to do?
I'm going to... Is there anyone behind me actually on a grav bike? Or am I in dead last right now?
Right now, you're not really certain where you're at. You don't see anybody around you. All you know is that Brock was in front of you.
Mr. 447, can I borrow your machine gun?
No, better idea. So I'm going to unclip a grenade from my belt and roll it out from behind the front runner. And I'm going to try to aim for the largest cluster of mushrooms I can to try to block our path.
Oh shit, what weapon are you using?
A grenade.
Oh god!
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Alright.
A 15. You spot a cluster of mushrooms that appear to be a bit weaker than the others. Go ahead and throw your grenade.
Alright. So I'm going to hold down the clamp, remove the clip, and just kind of toss it towards this, or... So, can you tell me, like, in relative, where this cluster of mushrooms is relative to me?
It is further up in front of you, like you're veering towards it.
Okay. I want to, as we are going through this cluster of mushrooms, let go of the grenade as we are leaving it behind, so that I don't have to risk blowing up the front runner as we, cross.
So you release the hammer and let it immediately go into primed status. Right past this place and release the grenade, and it rolls along the ground with the forward momentum right into the cluster. And go ahead and make an attack roll with the grenade. An 8. It rolls just to a spot where it's kind of reached the base of them, and you hear it go off, and you hear the sounds of collapsing fungus behind you. What would be the equivalent of a forest shrubs or twigs or stuff instead is kind of like broken stems falling down, because mushrooms aren't really that tough in terms of damage.
Right.
Minor ones kind of clutter the path, and you see mega spiders that are attempting to follow, kind of flooding through, or a bit stifled by it.
Alright,
You
that
can
slowed
see
them down just a bit.
And Tom looks back.
It
Those are
is.
fucking crazy.
It is about this point that you reach the end of the forest, where it starts to break into actual, like sparse vegetation once again, and you ramp up out of it and hit the ground just a little bit, and you find that, surprisingly, Brock and Lorik are behind you.
Holy shit, okay.
You're not sure what the hell happened to them, but they are basically fighting for some space, and you are pulling up just behind Ankos.
I'm going to get on the comms. Your bike's looking a little worse for wear there, Ankos.
I mean, if I can respond, I'll say, yeah, you fucking tell me.
It is about this point that Rare Falsey revs up her bike and ramps off of the mushrooms, joining the cluster. The way that this is situationed, you have Ankos, you have Rare Falsey, and then you have 447. It goes to Brock, who again is just going to continue to fight with Lorik, and we'll wait until the end of the race to see which of the two manages to take the lead. It goes to Yarich. You race off of the mushrooms. Want to do anything special?
I'm going to use one of the stems to kind of guide me down in front. Try to take one of the curved stems down so I can slide.
Okay. So yeah, with Vaku's detailed perceptive work, you ramp down and kind of go onto one of these fallen stems, one of the mushrooms that's grown in a bit weird, and follow it down. You join in with the others. The order looks something along the lines of Ankos in lead, Rare Falsey and Yarich fighting for second place, and then you have 447, and then there's Brock and Lorik in the back. It goes to Ankos. You see the entrance of the cavern, just kind of the one that Brock had pointed out. Make a perception check.
Oh boy.
Off in the distance, you see at the cavern entrance, Robril is waiting.
Okay.
Oh my
What?
fucking god. Upon seeing this, I'm gonna get on comms and say, we lost. And I'm gonna bring the bright. I'm gonna reduce the fucking power output to the
You
rear, like the
Actually
damage.
say this.
Yes.
So over the comms, you hear, "Oh, I don't care, I'm not racing."
I don't care. It was a spiritual loss. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce output to the rear thruster so I don't burn them out and just kind of like drift, like, casually fucking stroll into the entrance.
So Angos gives up the race, pulls off, veers off to the side. Brock and Lorik don't seem to care. They're still going on.
No, I'm still going. Fuck it.
Yarich
Like,
has
especially after hearing that fucking this guy wasn't even racing, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, Grobril's not racing. He just persists.
I'm trying to not blow
risked
my bike up.
life. I risked my life and this bear's life for 10 credits. I'm not gonna back out of this
My
fight.
bike is a gnat's foreskin away from exploding. I'm not trying to push any harder than I have to.
As comedy, Carthan uses his Kanabo and sort of mimes a boat oar as everyone passes them.
Lord. It goes to Lorik's turn. Again, we're going to wait until the end of the race because now it looks essentially like Rear Falsey and Yarich are fighting for first place, and 447 is just behind them. 447.
Okay, so what's the terrain around me like?
So the terrain around you is kind of turning into more rough and craggy again, but there are still mushrooms kind of interspersing in this grass-like substance that lines the bottom underneath.
Okay, if it's craggy, I want to see if I can take one of the jagged edges, like a particularly jagged edge of the cavern floor, and attempt to use it as a ramp to get some air and hopefully like position myself in front of the two people fighting for first.
Shit, piloting.
Alright.
So you definitely maneuver this thing, kind of pulling it up onto a rocky edge and ramp up, just kind of catching through and ignoring the terrain below you. There is some credit to this move, as Yarich and Rear Falsey both bear witness to a armored soldier on a hover bike flying through the air, only to come crash landing down to the left of the both of them.
So now there's three of us tying for first.
There is a screaming, panicking bear.
So while Tim Tom is panicking, I'm gonna give a cool glance over at Yarich, and like a shimmer of light goes down my visor before I look back like towards the road.
So, with Rear Falsey's turn, this is where the end of our combat encounter, or at least the round tracker, comes to a fruition. With Yarich, 447, and Rear Falsey all in the lead, We're going to have a final 3 piloting checks to see who pulls in front.
All right, let's do this, Enwa.
Here we go.
Oh ho ho! Oh!
So, the way that this happens, the momentum that you got for ramping up pulls you just in front, just barely enough that you continue to push the thing and push
Can
it.
I get a one-liner in before I win the race?
As you approach the finish line, what's your one-liner?
As I look towards your reach, I just say, "Your journey ends here, pilot."
Must belong to me. You pass by the front of the cavern entrance and kind of using Grobrill as like a finish marker. The following lineup is 447, Yarich, and then immediately afterwards Rear Falsey, as you both go further into the cavern ahead. Now, the other two. Good old Lorik and good old fucking Brock just continue to duke it out. We'll see which of
Despite while riding bikes.
Yeah, pretty much. They're just kind of like almost pressing up against each other. They don't want to hurt the bikes or damage the paint jobs, but they're kind of go-kart style, messing with each other. So this would be Brock.
Summons banana peel.
This would be Lorik. So, as the two of them continue to racing as fast as their little bikes can put out, the two dwarves on the back kind of slap fighting each other. Brock barely manages to pull ahead to the chagrin of Lorik, who's just like, no! And immediately they pass by Grobrill, completing the race as all of you speed off into the cavern. And that is where we will end tonight's session.
Excellent.
That was cool.
That was some hot
I
shit.
enjoyed that.
I did not expect there to be a race.
I wasn't expecting
I
to race
love
with
this.
the Galactic Dwarves, but here we are.
Nice. I'm so glad I put every rank I could into piloting.
Honestly, me too. This is the first time I've gotten to use it, and I've loved it.
I
now
risked
know
my
what-
life.
I'm
in
going
a
to
fucking
see if I
bear's
can
life for
eventually
10
get one of these
credits.
for myself.
God damn it.
I
I now
risked
know what
my
I'm going
life
to
and
do
a
with
bear's
my,
life for 10 credits. I'm not giving up now.
I like
I
how
love the path less traveled. That's a good one.
I was gonna
Atlas
say
Travel.
Fury Road.
Fury
So
Road.
with this, I'm gonna get dressed
Either
and
that
I'm
or
gonna head
what
out.
about all over 10 credits?
All over 10 credits. I
Or,
wanted to
all
call
for
this
10
one.
credits.
I wanted to call this one Rock and Stone, but I figured that'll probably be the next one with the way things are going.
Probably.
I guess I'm now torn between Fury Road and the Path Less Traveled.
I like the path less traveled. Fury Road's fun, but it's also like a movie reference, and I think path less traveled has...
Well, that's a direct quote from this session, so.
I think it has more heart.
This was fun.
I'll go ahead and cut the recording here.